White frost covered the grassland, and people blew out vapor when they breathed. The two armies, with hundreds of thousands of soldiers, were confronting each other. Banners fluttered in the sky and the troops' formation were as dense as forests. Lu tribe and He tribe had rested and reorganized for over a dozen days after the first battle before sending the war letter, and today, they both came out to battle once again. Second brother, you went out the previous time, it is my turn now. Mo Shikuang restlessly shouted and impatiently charged towards the front. Mo Shikuang's white hair fluttered, his black skin and panther-like eyes shone, his momentum was thunderous as he shouted, "Who seeks death? This black barbarian again." He tribe's higher-ups felt anger and fear at the sight of Mo Shikuang. In the battle before, many rank 4 Gu masters had lost their lives at Mo Shikuang's hands. Mo Shikuang's brutal fighting style caused people to be fearful. He Lulan scoffed, his expression much relaxed than before. He looked at the two new faces in the main tent. Who among you would like to go first? These two were Gao Yang and Zhu Zai, rank 4 peak stage Gu masters. Their name of demonic paths twin demons was spread far and wide. In their early days, demonic paths twin demons had received Tai Bai Yunxing's grace and swore to repay him. Not long ago, Tai Bai Yunxing used a letter Gu to try calling them. And a few days ago, they took the initiative to side with He tribe army. The addition of the two of them immediately filled the gap between He tribe and Lu tribe army and allowed He tribe's higher-ranked strength to be free from the previous strained circumstances. Demonic paths twin demons were inseparable, but the rule of the challenge was that every side could only send one person to battle. The two glanced at each other, already having discussed according to the intel He tribe had given them. Zhu Zai stood up and slightly bowed, "I shall go." He Lulan nodded. Mo Shikuang stared at Zhu Zai's arrival, revealing a happy expression. "A rank 4 peak stage, good, good. But you don't look that impressive, I hope you won't go down with just a few punches." Zhu Zai snorted and activated a Gu, his body then rapidly charged forward like an artillery shell. Mo Shikuang stood at the spot while licking his dried lips, prepared to receive the attack. Boom! Zhu Zai ruthlessly smashed against Mo Shikuang, creating an explosive sound like that of crackling thunder. The berserk collision of strength resulted in Zhu Zai retreating several steps while Mo Shikuang was directly sent flying. Third brother, be careful. This person is Zhu Zai of the demonic path's twin demons, he cultivates strength path. Lu Wenwu reminded in a loud voice from the main tent. Haha, strength path Gu master. Great. I like fighting with such exciting opponents. Mo Shikuang spurted out blood from the injury. He jumped up from the ground, the injury making him more excited instead. A crazed look appeared on his coal-like inky black skin, a loud sound echoed, his aura started surging and Mo Shikuang charged towards Zhu Zai. Courting death. Zhu Zai smiled sinisterly as he pounced forward as well. Boom boom boom. The two sides engaged in close combat, their attacks were so fierce and heavy that the collision produced a series of explosive sounds. Mo Shikuang was a Chi Path Gu master and was using his weakness to fight the enemy's strong point, but he unexpectedly was not in a disadvantage while fighting such an intense battle with the Strength Path Gu master Zhu Zai. Strange, could it be that this Mo Shikuang cultivates both Qi and Strength Path? He tribe camp was in a state of shock. It is not like that, Mo Shikuang looks like he is fighting close combat, but in truth, his punches are not really landing physically, instead he has a translucent Qi armor over his body which he explodes by using Qi explosion Gu at the same time, creating an explosive strength comparable to Strength Path. Cunning gentleman Sun Shirhan said in a solemn voice. He was specialized in investigating and with careful observation, he managed to see through the trick Mo Shikuang was playing. By synergizing with Qi Explosion Gu, Qi Armor Gu became a weapon that could both attack and defend. Gu masters relied on their wits to use Gu. Often, the coordination of different Gu worms could form a complementing effect. This Mo Shi Kuang is really fierce. This is the first time I saw someone actually suppressing Brother Zhu's eye head-on. Gao Yang's expression was solemn. He had been observing the battle since the start. He was extremely familiar with Zhu Zai and understood Zhu Zai was already using almost all his strength, but the enemy, however, was moving so easily and was clearly much relaxed. Suddenly, the mad growl of a boar exploded in the air. The beast phantom of a grand emperor boar that was as large as an elephant and had awe-inspiring might, appeared in the air. Grand Emperor Boar was a mutated boar, its strength could not be looked down on. After dozen or so moves, Zhu Zai finally unleashed a beast phantom. Instantly, his offensive power rose sharply and Mo Shi Kuang was caught unprepared as the huge strength struck him and sent him rolling on the ground. Zhu Zai took the chance to chase him and activated his trump card. The Grand Emperor Boar phantom gradually disappeared from the air before condensing again. Moreover, another 2 Grand Emperor Boar phantoms also appeared. 3 Grand Emperor Boar strength. Boom! The enormous strength burst out, causing Zhu Zai's every punch to create sonic booms. Mo Shi Kuang felt a sense of crisis and laughed madly. Interesting. Come, I will show you my true strength. He activated his movement Gu and swiftly flew up, easily dodging the attack of Zhu Zai's 3 boar strength. Zhu Zai's punch landed on the ground, creating a huge crater with stones and mud flying everywhere. Mo Shi Kuang's white hair fluttered in the air as he hovered in the air. He then sent punches after punches towards Zhu Zai. Ora. Fist chi smashed down like a meteor rain. Zhu Zai kept on dodging while also striking back and destroying these fist chi. But soon after, he was falling into a disadvantage. Facing a chi path opponent, Zhu Zai's strength path's most common weakness started becoming obvious. He was not like Fang Yuan who had strength chi gu. Zhu Zai lacked long-range attacking methods, and Mo Shi Kuang was able to quickly suppress him after changing his battle tactics. Not good, brother Zhu Zai won't be able to hold on if he keeps on defending. Gao Yang knew Zhu Zai's strengths and weaknesses, and was very anxious at this scene as he immediately asked to be sent to battle. He Lulan also saw the unfavorable situation and immediately agreed. A mere variant human, I will teach you a lesson. Gao Yang softly shouted. Mist started curling around him before condensing into a ribbon that pushed him forward. Don't even think of using numbers as an advantage. Ouyang Bai Sang snorted and moved almost at the same time. His speed was very fast, intercepting Gao Yang midway. Gao Yang was concerned about Zhu Zai and did not even have any thoughts of fighting Ouyang Bai Sang as he activated Cloud Rope Gu from a distance. Milky white mist surged around Ouyang Bai Sang before condensing into a rope which firmly bound him. Gao Yang was specialized in defense and pinning down enemies, while Zhu Zai was specialized in attacking and investigation. The cooperation between the two complemented each other very well. Ouyang Bai Sang struggled, the cloud rope shook and broke before condensing again, and actually had the signs of multiplying. Ouyang Bai Sang was furious as he started transferring his primeval essence into Azura Zombie Gu in his aperture and transforming into a zombie. With the transformation into Azura Zombie, his defense and strength surged rapidly. Ouyang Bai Sang growled and completely broke the cloud rope with 3 times the strength. He stamped his foot and flew to the air, blocking Gao Yang again. Azura Zombie was one of the 5 great flying zombie Gu. It naturally had the ability to fly. Gao Yang simply did not want to tangle with Ouyang Bai Sang. His brows furrowed deeply as he looked at Ouyang Bai Sang blocking him again, and knew the other wanted to provide time for Mo Shi Kuang to kill Zhu Zai. At this thought, he directly activated his trump card Gu. Rank 5, Treacherous Cloud Wave Gu. His primeval C rapidly fell down, almost lowering by half. A gray cloud that was as big as a carriage surged with dark red light floating inside, and rapidly flew towards Ouyang Bai Sang. Ouyang Bai Sang moved around and dodged few times, but this cloud followed him like a shadow and finally covered him. The instant Ouyang Bai Sang was struck by treacherous cloud wave Gu, he felt his sense of direction was lost, his mind seemed to work extremely slowly and his thoughts were slowed down by many times. He could not differentiate which way was east and which was west and even lost the sense of up and down, left and right. For a moment, as he was covered in the gray cloud, he was like a headless fly that was tossing around in the sky. Mo Shi Kuang, don't be too rampant. Gao Yang left Ouyang Bai Sang and finally was able to reinforce Zhu Zai in time. The two combined their strength, and with their deep tacit understanding, even Mo Shi Kuang who was fierce and fearless was being gradually suppressed. But the three had exchanged no more than over 20 moves when they heard Ouyang Bai Sang shout, Azura transformation. Instantly, 6 thick arms which looked like they were casted in bronze stretched out through the grey cloud. The inaugural upload of this chapter took place via N0V3LB1N. From outside, one could vaguely see the figure, inside the grey cloud, inflating like a balloon. Ouyang Bai Sang used his killer move, his battle strength exploding by several times. His body shook, shaking the dim and lightless grey cloud into dispersing. You despicable scoundrels, die. Ouyang Bai Sang was thoroughly furious as he flew into the air and attacked Gao Yang and Zhu Zai with Mo Shi Kuang. With such an expert joining the battle, Zhu Zai and Gao Yang were forced to passively defend. The situation had dramatically turned into that of a crisis. Alliance leader, Gao Yang and Zhu Zai are experts we must have, we cannot let them die like this. Tai Bai Yunsheng saw the situation had turned bad and immediately spoke up. Sir's words are reasonable. He Lulan was solemn, and suddenly stood up from his seat. Although Gao Yang and Zhu Zai had joined them, He tribe was still weaker than Lu tribe in terms of higher ranked strength. He Lulan waved his hand, and just like what he saw Fong Yuan doing, sent the order for an all-out war. The command was sent and the army began to move. Lu Wenwu sneered, you could not win in experts challenge and now come to gang up. Good, I will accompany you. Bugles rang and war drums shook the battlefield. Lu tribe army also moved out. Two sides, both with hundreds of thousands of soldiers, surged towards the other like a torrent. The distance between the two armies was quickly cut down, and when they were few hundred steps afar, Gu masters began to attack almost at the same time. For a moment, large numbers of pill fire, icicles, bone spears and wind blades shot towards the enemies. Light armors, bone shields, water barriers and all kinds of defensive abilities were also activated. The originally simple scene had turned into a gorgeous painting of all colors. Boom boom boom. The attacks from both sides landed on each other almost at the same time. Like a rainstorm falling down on the lake, ripples started spreading. Only a few Gu masters with bad luck died or were heavily injured in the intense storm of attack. Most of the Gu masters continued to attack till the army of the both sides collided. Like the collision of two torrents, blood splattered and chaos descended. Chapter 532, Huge Battle, 2 of 4. At once, even Gao Yang, Zhu Zai, Mo Shi Kuang, and Ouyang Bai Sang's battles were interrupted by the huge influx of people. The two armies intertwined completely, as fighting sounds erupted and filled the heavens. Waterfall Gu. In the chaotic battle, Water Demon Hao Ji Lu pushed with his palms as a great current burst forth, sweeping the Gu masters in front of him irregardless of alliance. Great Tornado Gu. A large dark green tornado over tens of meters tall swept the battlefield. Everywhere it went, humans and beasts flew into the air as they lost their balance. The tornado dispersed and revealed Chang Biao within. He was floating in the air with his green robe, he had an overwhelming aura. He and Hao Ji Lu were not far away, naturally, the two rank 4 experts made eye contact with each other. This chapter was first shared on the Novuro LSS1N platform. The next moment, there were no trash talks, they fought immediately. A flash of golden lightning pierced the battlefield, all the He tribe Gu masters in its path lost their lives. The golden light dispersed, and a stoic man with broad shoulders and thin waist appeared. It was Pei Yanfei. Chang Shan, today, I will behead you and take revenge for what happened back then. Pei Yanfei was overflowing with battle intent, fire was burning within him when suddenly, his gaze concentrated and he activated his defensive Gu in time. Behind him, a lump of shadow exploded. The shadow was deep and profound, turning into multiple sword shadows as it attacked his back, causing Pei Yanfei to sway violently. It's you, Shadow Sword Expert. Pei Yanfei stabilized his footing as he looked at the Gu master who attacked him, his gaze becoming serious. Bian Xian, who had a black veil covering her face, laughed. Lord Pei Yanfei is too courteous. She spoke very respectfully, but her actions were not. The black shadow swords appeared again like a windmill, engulfing Pei Yanfei. Then I shall kill you first. Pei Yanfei laughed loudly as he charged forward. Our battle has not ended, where are you two going? Ouyang Bai sang, Mo Shi Kuang came before the demonic path twin demons. Gao Yang and Zhu Zai felt bitter, they could only continue and engage in battle with Ouyang Bai sang and Mo Shi Kuang. As the Gu master experts continued fighting, their battle rings formed into distinct areas, and the chaotic battlefield gradually became clear. Tens of large battle rings were filled with rank 4 to 5 experts. Outside the large rings, there were small battle rings with rank 3 Gu masters as the main strength. Outside the small rings, low-rank Gu masters formed into groups as they fought together in teams. As the main commander, He Lulan and Lu Wenwu were sitting in their main tents, observing the battle situation. At times, they gave orders and dispatched their elite troops to areas of the battlefield to stabilize the situation or to pursue their advantage. The giant battlefield soon gave off the thick scent of blood. Gu masters continued to fall, some were turned into icicles, while others were charred, some were torn to pieces while others were poisoned to death. The clean grassland became a weird monster, devouring fresh blood and life every minute and second. The battle was so intense, after a while, He Lulan and Lu Wenwu were both breaking out in cold sweat. Large numbers of casualties made their hearts turn cold. The intensity of battle made people's hearts go numb. To maintain the situation, the two quickly dispatched their trump cards, the elite troops. Only the Black Banner elite troops and Grand White elite were left to control the area. As time flowed, deaths and injuries became less. After all, the explosive strength only appeared at the start. By now, Gu masters experienced intense primeval essence expenditure and were starting to reduce their usage. This way, the battle intensity started to decrease. The battle entered a stalemate. The two armies were like two giants competing at equal strength. Either side could snowball from a tiny advantage, until they emerged victorious, and become the winner of the battlefield. Our higher-level battle strength are doing well. Wolf King, now that the rank 5 lurking soul coat Gu is in your hands, together with the mutated beast wolf group, the rest will be up to you. He Lulan transmitted with his Gu worm. At the start of the battle, Fang Yuan was already not in the main tent, but lurking somewhere on the battlefield. His exact location was not known by He Lulan either. Fang Yuan received He Lulan's words, but he did not reply. He mobilized the wolf group and started to sprint in two directions. Lu tribe Gu masters subconsciously chased after them, but this way, the tight formation was loosened. Howl! A group of over 800 mutated beast wolf group, comprising white eyes wolves, blood forest wolves, frenzy wolves, shark fin wolves. The wolf group was like a sharp arrow, shooting out and piercing towards Lu tribe's main camp. Fang Yuan's attack was a fatal blow, it was vicious and cruel, striking at the enemy's vital points. A group of mutated beasts reinforcement as expected. Lu Wenwu looked at the charging wolves that disrupted his formation. Large numbers of Gu masters lost their lives to the wolves as he frowned deeply. He tribe's Gu immortal supplying mutated wolves was information easy to obtain, it was no secret. Lu Wenwu was unfazed, he had Lu tribe's Gu immortals backing him as well, along with the entire Lu tribe. He had his ways of dealing with this mutated beast wolf group. Bei Chao Chuan, it is time to strike. Lu Wenwu instructed the Gu master beside him. Bei Chao Chuan was expressionless, standing up from his seat as he frowned. I can only last for 7 minutes. Lu Wenwu nodded, no worry, go ahead. Bei Chao Chuan walked out of the main tent, his primeval essence rapidly expending as he activated the Gu worm that he had obtained not long ago. The refreshing aura of grass and wood spread from his body, for a radius of 100 li. All the grass within the range of this aura grew wildly, in a few breaths' time, they grew taller than a man's height. The large blades of grass intertwined, forming rank 2 grass soldier puppets. Soon, there were 1,000 grass soldier puppets. Bei Chao Chuan activated his Gu worm, as a jade-colored light rained down. The grass puppets were bathed in the green rain water, as a portion of them advanced to rank 3 rattan shell grass soldiers. At the same time, the rank 2 grass puppets were still growing. Bei Chao Chuan activated his Gu worm again, as an orange wind blew on the grassland. As the wind blew, a portion of the rattan shell grass soldiers advanced into the rank 4 grass sword elite soldiers. The empty central camp quickly was filled with an army of grass soldiers. At once, it became the most densely packed area in the battlefield. The charging mutated wolf group was obstructed by these obstacles. Fang Yuan frowned, he manipulated wholeheartedly. He hit on the back of the blood forest wolf, his body cloaked in the rank 5 lurking soul coat Gu, it was like a green-gray wolf skin cape. The lurking soul coat Gu was indeed amazing, it concealed Fang Yuan's soul and allowed him to strike with his full strength. But at this time, Fang Yuan felt that he was battling against an enslavement path master. Bei Chao Chuan manipulated the grass soldier army as tears overflowed his face. He now had 2 souls in one body. In order to defeat Wolf King Chang Shan, Bei tribe's elder Bei Chao Xing sacrificed himself and entrusted his soul to Bei Chao Chuan. Using Lu Wenwu's Gu worm, Bei Chao Chuan absorbed the power of Bei Chao Xing's soul, causing him to gain the attainment of an enslavement path master within this short period of time. Bei Chao Chuan was originally a rank 4 enslavement path Gu master, he was also Bei tribe leader, he had the resources of a clan, his soul foundation was not weak. With Bei Chao Xing's help, he was like a tiger with wings, his enslavement path battle strength surged. Except that this move had huge repercussions. Because he used another person's soul, Bei Chao Chuan's soul will be impure and he would have memory lapses, he would need to expend huge amounts of spirit and resources, using specialized soul path Gu worms to nourish his soul and heal this problem. But now, in order to defeat He tribe army and take revenge, Bei Chao Chuan could not care less about the aftermath. He tribe had invited Gao Yang and Zhu Zai to mend the gap of their higher-level battle strength. And Lu tribe thought of this method to replenish their lower-level battle strength, raising Bei Chao Chuan's strength to enslavement path master so that he could restrict Fang Yuan. At once, Fang Yuan's mutated beast wolf group was barely resisted by the grass soldier army. We blocked it. Haha. Hey Lu Lan, you are bound to lose. Lu Wenwu saw this and the worry in his heart vanished, he laughed heartily as his voice resounded the battlefield. Damn it. Hey Lu Lan clenched his fist and gritted his teeth. The situation was terrible, Gao Yang and Zhu Zai were in great danger, and the mutated wolf group that he had placed his hope on was restricted at the enemy's camp, unable to progress. Without a choice, he had to mobilize the Black Banner troops. Brothers, it is finally time for us Black Banner to strike. Black Banner Commander received this order and shouted excitedly. Black Banner Troop was nurtured by He tribe for a long time, the trump card made from expending huge amounts of resources. Once they were deployed, they were like a black blade that stabbed into the battlefield, easily slicing it like tofu. The entire Black Banner Troop was reinforced by Favourite Gu. They were brave and peerless, not afraid of death. They could display 120% of their original strength. Can't control it anymore, huh? Lu Wenwu's eyes shone brilliantly, staring at the Black Banner Troop's movements. When he saw the Black Banner Troop making a curve around the battlefield, towards his central camp, he instantly understood He Lulan's intention. So you are trying to stake it all on this, gathering your advantage and piercing the grass soldier army. Humph, Bei Chao Chuan had such difficulty resisting Chang Shan Yin. If the Black Banner Troops appeared, he would definitely fall. By then, He tribe would have a mild advantage and this crucial beast group would be free to attack. Thinking so, Lu Wenwu laughed arrogantly. Your He tribe has Black Banner Troops, renowned in northern plains. My Lu tribe also has the Grand White Troops, of similar magnitude of fame. Black Banner and Grand White's competition had been ongoing for hundreds of years. Let's see who wins today. Under his command, the Grand White Troops unleashed one of their 3 killer moves directly. The Grand White Troops exploded with a piercing white light. The white light formed into a giant light pillar that pierced into the heavens. The light pillar rose up, but after an instant, it descended from the sky, shooting at the area that the Black Banner Troops were advancing towards. The 3 Black Banner commanders saw this familiar killer move and ordered their troops to stay on guard. The light pillar dispersed and the Grand White Troops appeared with a tight formation. Grand White Troops were foot soldiers, while Black Banner Troops rode battle horses. But in terms of mobility, Grand White Troops were superior. It was none other than the ability of this killer move. Chapter 533, Huge Battle, 3 of 4. Black Banner Troops and Grand White Troops started to fight. Ever since they were created, they were opposing forces that had contested for hundreds of years, having victories and losses on both sides. At this moment, the 2 troops engaged in battle and unleashed their killer moves, having no clear advantage on each side. Seeing his final trump card engaged in a deadlock, He Lulan's expression turned pitch black. He. Lu Wenwu laughed heartily, feeling great pleasure. His opponent was at his wit's end, but he was in the same situation. However, the grass soldier army could still block the mutated beast wolf group for some time. As for He tribe's higher-level battle force, they had already shown signs of collapsing, especially Gao Yang and Zhu Zai against Ouyang Bai Sang and Mo Shikuang. Their battle was very obviously showing signs of a victor emerging. Ouyang Bai Sang and Mo Shikuang, although they were not skilled at cooperating, they had greater individual strength than their opponents. If Gao Yang and Zhu Zai were fighting 2 against 1, using their great chemistry, they could have a mild advantage. But now, they could only be suppressed, defending desperately as they were in a passive situation. Anyone could tell that Gao Yang and Zhu Zai were going to fail very soon. Once they lose, Ouyang Bai Sang and Mo Shikuang would be like tigers out of a cage. They would start to reinforce other battles. That way, their mild advantage will snowball and accumulate, allowing the entire battle to sway in his favor. Once Lu tribe army gains the advantage, He tribe without any more backup would have no way of winning. They would only be able to watch their opponent grow stronger as they fall into a worse situation. Eventually, the other side will turn advantage into victory, and He tribe army would crumble. He Lulan could see the problem now. He was sweating profusely. He was all alone in the main tent. At this point, he could only rely on his own strength. His body vanished in the main tent, appeared in the air above the grass soldier army. He had the intention of killing Bei Chao Chuan. Since Bei Chao Chuan did not have lurking soul coat Gu, he was easy to distinguish. Once he is killed, the grass soldier army would crumble. That way, This battle would go back into a double offense situation. At the end, it would be like the first battle, they would have to regroup and retreat. Killer move, Dark Vortex. He Lulan had just activated his killer move, when a white light appeared before him, showing Lu Wenwu's body. He Lulan was a dark path rank 5, while Lu Wenwu was a light path rank 5, the two had engaged in combat for many times without a clear victor. But this time, the gentlemanlike Lu Wenwu showed a mild smile of a victor. Brother Lu Lan, today's battle depends on a single ray of light. My grass soldier army is going to fall soon, but your higher level battle strength will falter more quickly. What a pity, our armies have very close battle strength, we are nearly evenly matched. You are courting death. He Lulan shouted furiously, growling and charging at Lu Wenwu. The two fought as they moved around, exploding with thunderous sounds or brilliant lights. Strange, in my previous life, He tribe defeated Lu tribe, but it seems that Lu tribe has the advantage now. Was it because of me that some weird changes occurred? Fong Yuan hid at a corner as he secretly observed. He was an enslavement strength dual cultivator, he had not displayed his full strength yet. In fact, he had not even displayed his full enslavement path abilities yet. At this moment, the grass soldier army was barely holding on, he just had to show up and unleash the Wolf Howl Gu and rank 5 Amplify Effect Gu to instantly defeat Bei Chao Chuan. But Fong Yuan did not move, he chose to observe. His attention was on Ouyang Bai Sang and Mo Shi Quan. Once he showed up, and activated Wolf Howl Gu and rank 5 Amplify Effect Gu, there was a huge possibility that the two of them would come after him. Truthfully speaking, Fong Yuan was already accomplished in strength path, he was not afraid of fighting Ouyang Bai Sang and Mo Shi Quan together in close combat. But my vision cannot be limited to this battle. The fight for the imperial court is a competition among super tribes, a game manipulated by Gu immortals. Once I expose my full strength, even if we win this battle, the other party will definitely target me when they get reinforced by their Gu immortal. By then, I would have no more hidden trump cards left, my grasp over this situation would fall to rock bottom. Fong Yuan's mind was on the imperial court, he kept calm at all times and was not disturbed by the dangerous situation ahead of him. In my previous life, how did He tribe defeat Lu tribe? Although the battle is extremely tense now, both sides had not used their trump cards yet. At least I know that Tai Bai Yun Sheng has a rank 5 Gu man as before. The less battle strength I expose, the better it is for me. If I strike, it has to be a fatal blow. Now is not the time yet. Fong Yuan's heart was calm, despite this intense battlefield that was filled with corpses and rivers of blood. In his eyes, these casualties were just numbers. In this battle, many people screamed at the deaths of their friends and family, many people shouted in joy after killing a strong foe, some Gu masters ran away under the fear of death. Some Gu masters were filled with ambition, wanting to be a person of higher status. Human emotions became riled up in such moments of life and death, they were frenzied, crazy, while arrogant and unrestrained. Observing the ruthless expressions of the people around, hearing their screaming and shouting, Fong Yuan felt a great sense of serenity and peace. His heart was firm like an ancient abyss, there were no ripples on the surface. Fight, kill, a person is born to engage in battle. Win, lose, continue walking on your path, by stepping on other people's corpses. Let blood boil, let sweat flow, the best moment of life is now. N. VEpsilonLBN, a haven for bookworms and dreamers. Take this, this is my killer move, world-devouring chi. In the battlefield, an explosive and thunderous shout burst out. His voice attracted numerous gazes as everyone subconsciously focused on it. Oh no, let's go. An intense sense of danger assaulted him as Gao Yang shouted, activating his Gu worm and wanting to escape, but the surrounding air was as dense as walls, he could barely move. Mo Shi Kuang floated in the air, opening his hands as his 10 fingers converged before his chest. Gao Yang and Zhu Zai felt a despairing sense of pressure, squashing them from all directions. Their shocked expressions froze on their faces, the feeling of imminent death filled their hearts. Go! Before the moment of death, Zhu Zai burst out the strength of 3 Grand Emperor Boar, piercing a hole on the wall like air. Brother! Gao Yang felt his world spinning. When he reacted, he had already been tossed far away by Zhu Zai, away from the battlefield. As for Zhu Zai, he was squeezed into meat paste by Mo Shi Kuang's killer move, through an intense and concentrated air pressure. Brother! Gao Yang shouted, his heart felt like it was pierced by daggers as tears flowed out of his eyes like a flood. Mo Shi Kuang also vomited a mouthful of blood. Second brother, your killer move is not completed yet, don't activate it casually. Ouyang Bai Sang quickly hurried over and held him in the air. Mo Shi Kuang vomited blood as he laughed, what a great battle, I used it without thinking, ha ha ha. Ouyang Bai Sang shook his head, alright, let's continue killing that Gao Yang, after we resolve the problem here, we will reinforce the other battles. Lu Wenwu who saw this laughed, he declared with overwhelming confidence, this is the start of our Lu tribe army's consecutive victories. Brother Lu Lan, you have no way of winning already. Is that so? It was not He Lu Lan who replied him, but Tai Bai Yun Sheng who was at another battle ring. Tai Bai Yun Sheng who had always been evading attacks suddenly burst out with great speed as he pulled some distance from his opponent, opening his palms and shooting out a silver beam. The silver beam shone on Zhu Zai's flesh and blood that became meat paste. Rank 5, Man as before. In an instant, silver light shone brilliantly, making people close their eyes in response. After the light faded, Zhu Zai reappeared on the battlefield, without any injuries on him, as his primeval sea level was also at its peak. Under the effect of Man as before, Zhu Zai returned to the state right before the battle. The shocked expression not only appeared on multiple Gu masters' faces, even Lu Wenwu, Mo Shi Kuang, and Ouyang Bai Sang had the same expression. Man as before Gu had an incredible healing effect that made almost everyone feel shocked and speechless. Man as before Gu, Time Path Healing Gu, could return a target to his condition at a point in time. Good, what a great healing Gu. He Lu Lan laughed heartily, he did not expect Tai Bai Yun Sheng to be concealing such a strong trump card. As long as they had this, He tribe's higher level battle could drag on for a long time. Good, now is the time. Fang Yuan's eyes shone with brilliance as he activated Rank 4 Eagle Rise Gu, flying up into the sky. Rank 5 Amplify Effect Gu and Rank 4 Wolf Howl Gu. Fang Yuan opened his mouth and howled, as his voice spread far and wide. Under the effect of the Wolf Howl Gu, all his mutated beasts' bodies expanded, as their eyes turned bright red, their battle strength grew by 5 times. Go! Fang Yuan floated in the air, staring at the battlefield as he muttered. The wolf tide burst out, like a tsunami out of nowhere. Damn it, I can't hold on. Bei Chao Chuan was at his wit's end, he resisted desperately, but the grass soldier army was like a thin piece of paper under the wolf tide, it was torn to shreds without even lasting for a few breaths' time. Bei Chao Chuan did not even manage to escape before a frenzy wolf pounced on him and tore his armor with its sharp teeth, before biting his throat. Bei Chao Chuan resisted with all his strength, sending this frenzy wolf flying, just as he was about to cover his neck and get up, 3 white-eyes wolves came and after a struggle, he was a corpse torn into several pieces. The grass soldier army went down, Fang Yuan thus manipulated the wolf group and attacked Grand White troops. Grand White troops were fighting with Black Banner troops, they were stuck in a stalemate as they exchanged blows. Now that the mutated beast wolf group attacked them from behind, they suffered heavy injuries. Ha ha ha, Lu Wenwu, it seems that I have the last laugh. The battle turned in such a sudden direction, He Lu Lan was overjoyed and surprised. No, I have not lost yet. Lu Wenwu's face was distorted as he shouted frantically, like a gambler who had gone crazy from losing. He turned into a white light, flying towards Ouyang by Sang and Imo Shi Kuang. Second brother, third brother. He shouted. Chapter 534, Huge Battle, 4 of 4. We are here, big brother. Ouyang by Sang and Imo Shi Kuang shouted at the same time. Let them see the true strength of us three brothers. Lu Wenwu shouted, and without slowing down, directly smashed into Imo Shi Kuang and Ouyang by Sang. The two laughed loudly, their body giving off green and gray light. Green, gray and white, three lights collided. Boom! Light dispersed and on the spot appeared a human-shaped monster. This monster had 3 heads and 6 arms. It was 20 feet tall with tight muscles and bronze skin. The 3 heads had the appearance of Lu Wenwu, Ouyang by Sang and Imo Shi Kuang. This. Countless people looked on with wide eyes at this freakish scene. I will let you guys know, this is our 3 brothers killer move, 3 heads 6 arms. Are you trembling in fear? Let out all your dread. This will be the last moment of your lives. The 3 heads spoke in unison. Humph, shameless boasting. Gao Yang snorted, activating his treacherous cloud wave Gu. A gray cloud shot towards the 3 heads 6 arms giant, but before it even reached its target, Lu Wenwu's eyes shot 2 light beams that pierced through the cloud. Boom! With a sonic boom, the 3 heads 6 arms suddenly appeared above Gao Yang. So fast. Gao Yang's pupils shrunk, and from the battle experiences he had cultivated over a long period of time, he quickly activated his defense Gu. The monster waved its 2 arms. One arm pierced through the light barrier while another arm smashed Gao Yang's head like it smashed a watermelon. Next moment, Gao Yang's headless corpse fell down from the sky. Brother! Rage attacked Zhu Zai's heart and made him lose all reasoning, as he ferociously charged towards the monster. Mwahahaha, the lamentation of ants. Imo Shi Kuang's head laughed loudly and lightly flicked his finger towards Zhu Zai. Boom! Qi flow exploded and moved straight through the battlefield with formidable impact force, inflicting injuries for several thousands of steps. Zhu Zai directly exploded from the attack, his blood and crushed bones flying in all directions. The Gu masters who suffered the after effects of the attack were all injured heavily. This power, it has increased by at least 6 times, and the speed has increased by 9 times at least. This 3-people combination, is it combining Azura transformation, the attacking force of Qi path and the effects of light path? Fang Yuan had an intense urge to battle when he looked at this scene. I have all-out effort Gu, and by adding in rank 5 amplify effect Gu, I can burst out with 500 June of strength. I wonder who would win if I fight with this monster. But in the next moment, Fang Yuan suppressed his battle intent and flew down, again hiding among the mutated beast group. Man as before Gu. At this moment, 2 silver lights shone down, Zhu Zai and Gao Yang resurrected again, restored to their previous state. Old geezer. The monster's 6 eyes were filled with icy glint, killing intent and battle intent, simultaneously charging towards Tai Bai Yunsheng. Tai Bai Yunsheng panically retreated. Although he had man as before Gu, he could only use it on others and could not use it on himself. All those that are free, protect Tai Bai Yunsheng. He Lu Lan hurried to reinforce while shouting to his army, realizing the crux of the battle. Who can stop me? Ouyang Bai Sang's head loftily smiled. Next instant, the monster turned into a ray of green light that shot towards Tai Bai Yunsheng like lightning. Tai Bai Yunsheng was hiding behind others, but no one was able to block the monster as it charged straight, sweeping everything on its path. Anyone that dared to block it, be it Gu masters or beasts, would become pools of crushed flesh and bones. Benefactor, leave quickly. Gao Yang and Zhu Zai rushed over, guarding Tai Bai Yunxing behind them. Cumbersome things. The monster waved its 6 arms so quick that one could only see their afterimage. Thump thump, Zhu Zai and Gao Yang were smashed again. Take my soul blade Gu. Pan Ping hurried over and activated single blade Gu. Soul blade Gu successfully activated this time, and the monster's huge body slightly shook, a shallow wound appearing on its chest. A little interesting. The monster laughed coldly. The wound had completely recovered by the time he finished laughing. Afterwards, the monster let out a breath of turbid air. The turbid air detonated and exploded Pan Ping into pieces. Tai Bai Yunxing, where are you going? The monster howled with laughter, the voices of the 3 heads gradually becoming one. Tai Bai Yunxing had not moved very far when the monster intercepted in front of him. Swoosh! Waterfall flowed in a torrent, and Hao Ji Lu came riding it. The monster pushed forward with all 6 hands and collapsed the water torrent. Hao Ji Lu screamed miserably and flew backwards in a faster speed than he came. Seeing this scene, Bian Si Xian, who was charging forward, immediately stopped, not daring to go forward. Dark Vortex. He Lu Lan sped down from the sky, and the giant black sphere that was as large as a hill pressed down. The monster roared, its 6 hands forming into a claw shape and slashing towards the distant black sphere. Killer move, world-devouring chi. The air became as thick as a wall and solid as a mountain. He Lu Lan's face turned red and purple, but he was not able to continue forward. Following after, air from all around surged and unexpectedly swallowed his killer move. The killer move which Mo Shi Kuang could not carry out completely was suddenly perfected in the monster's hand. Howl! The mutated wolf group rushed over while He Lu Lan delayed the monster. In an instant, the mutated wolf group had surrounded the monster tightly. A bloody battle broke out. The mutated wolves, which had a strength of rank 4 Gu masters, fearlessly initiated a death charge at the monster. Kill, kill, kill. The monster growled repeatedly as it turned into a berserk state and started fighting the mutated wolves. His every movement carried his full power. Light Path, Chi Path and Transformation Path Gu worms jointly attacked with deep tacit cooperation, as if the monster was a cultivator cultivating 3 paths. The mutated wolves died one after another, but the monster's offensive was still as fierce as before. Lord Alliance Leader, let me lend you a hand. At this moment, a Lu tribe Gu master hurried over to assist. But in the next moment, he was smashed apart alive by the monster which had lost its reason. Lord Lu Wenwu has lost his mind. He has become mad. The battlefield was in an uproar and Lu tribe army's morale fell down sharply. My tribe has suffered tremendous losses, we have lost 1/3 of our Gu masters, it is time to retreat. How can such an alliance leader be worth us giving up our lives? Let's discuss after we retreat, the casualties have already reached a high level. Retreat now, don't care about violating the poison vow. The battle had reached such a chaotic state that was beyond everyone's expectation. Deserters started to appear from both He and Lu tribe. The Black Banner troops and Grand White troops that had been managing the army were in an intense fight now. How could they have the energy to spare to suppress these deserters? What to do? He Lu Lan asked. This monster gave him an extreme headache. Don't worry. Killer moves have astonishing might, but their consumption of primeval essence is also enormous. Moreover, this killer move clearly has a defect, this monster has already lost its reasoning. A powerful being without intelligence is nothing to worry about. Fang Yuan calmly analyzed, his voice shaking everyone's mind. Yes, if nothing unexpected happens, then we have already won this battle. Tai Bai Yunxing added. But he had just finished speaking when the unexpected event happened. The 3-head 6-arms monster suddenly separated into 3 people who then charged into 3 directions. Lu Wenwu and Mo Shikuang's charge missed, but Ouyang Baisang's eyes shone as he shouted, Chang Shan Yin, I have finally found you. Die. Their three-people combination into three-head six-arms monster allowed their souls to mix and their battle strength would raise rapidly, but this state could not be maintained for long. The longer it was used, the more chaotic their memories would become, finally leading them to lose themselves and become a delirious lunatic or become an idiot. When they killed the Gu master that had come for reinforcement, their minds shook and barely managed to regain a trace of sanity. Relying on this sanity, they planned in making a comeback. Compared to killing Tai by Yunsheng, killing Chang Shan Yin would no doubt be much more important. The investigative Gu of these three were not common Gu. By carefully observing the battlefield, they calculated the three places where Fang Yuan was most likely to be hiding. In the end, Ouyang Baisang found Fang Yuan's hiding place. Damn it! If the Wolf King dies, the Wolf Group will crumble apart. Lu Tribe's army will be able to turn around the situation and it will instead become my army's defeat. Seeing Ouyang Baisang pouncing at Chang Shan Yin with a sinister smile, He Lu Lan shouted inwardly as he crazily rushed to assist, but he was still late. Die! Ouyang Baisang unexpectedly still had enough primeval essence left to activate Azura transformation again. Wolf King is finished. Sun Shirhan was afraid but also happy. Bad. Chang Shan Yin is going to die. Tai Bai Yunsheng and others had pale expressions. Father! Chang Ji shouted in desperation. However, the person in question, Fang Yuan, had a strange smile on his face as he saw Ouyang Baisang's attack. Rank 4 Eagle Raise Gu and Rank 5 Amplify Effect Gu. A pair of eagle wings suddenly grew out of Fang Yuan's back and took him towards the sky with 5 times the speed. Ouyang Baisang was dazed for a second before he hurried chased, shouting, Don't even think of escaping. But his speed was not enough and he could only look on as the gap between them spread apart. Let me! Lu Wenwu shouted and turned into a white light that rapidly charged over. But Fang Yuan nimbly turned around and dodged. Mo Shikuang also rushed over at this moment, chasing and intercepting Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was extremely deft. At times, he was like a butterfly passing through the flowers, at times, he was like a lightning, at times, he was like a light wind, and at times, he was like a ghost, playfully circling the three. This is master-level flying skill. Everyone looked at this sight with dumbfounded gazes. Gu masters raised Gu, used Gu and refined Gu, no matter which aspect, they were all profound and vast. It was clearly the same Gu that they were using, but some Gu masters could use them brilliantly, elevating it to a level of art. People often called these individuals masters. I had never thought that Wolf King was not only an enslavement path master but also flying master. Everyone looked for a while and let go of their worries, exclaiming in surprise. Wolf King, don't run if you dare. Ouyang Baisang shouted. Chang Shan Yin, if you have any guts, come exchange 300 moves with me. Mo Shikuang roared in fury. Damn it! Lu Wenwu gnashed his teeth, his heart already sinking to the bottom. Fang Yuan's flying skills left them in the dust. What made them even more vexed was that Fang Yuan was unexpectedly separating his thoughts in controlling the wolf group to slaughter Lu tribe army, while dodging them. Oh, for heaven's sake, if I knew you could fly this skillfully, why would we need to fight to this extent? Looking at Fang Yuan's skillful maneuvers, He Lu Lan felt some resentment in his heart. As for the Lu tribe 3 brothers, they were completely speechless. Chapter 535, Meeting of Father and Son. Lu Wenwu lost. It was an indignant loss, but this was the truth, it would not change because of his feelings. Lu Wenwu, Ouyang Baisang, Mo Shikuang all had flying abilities. But in terms of flying attainment, they could not compare to Fang Yuan. The sky was different from the ground, people could fly freely in the air, up, down, left, right, they could dodge in all directions and fly everywhere. But on the ground, there was much less space for evasion. No matter how Lu Wenwu and gang tried to block him, they could do nothing to Fang Yuan. Meanwhile, as Fang Yuan dodged, he mobilized the wolf army to slaughter Lu tribe's army. Lu Wenwu and gang had no choice but to give up on chasing Fang Yuan, turning to kill the wolf group and helping the low-rank Gu masters. But this was what He Lu Lan, Fang Yuan and others wanted to see. Using wolf kings or the mutated wolf group to expended the Lu tribe three brothers' precious primeval essence was very worth it. It was very advantageous to Fang Yuan as well. As long as a Gu master did not advance to a mortal realm, their primeval essence would be limited. Once they expend their primeval essence, their battle strength would decrease drastically and hit rock bottom. The wolf tide came again and again. The more wolves the Lu tribe three brothers killed, the more primeval essence they used up. The wolf group's scale was huge, it was never-ending. Eventually, Lu tribe three brothers killed until their primeval essence was depleted. By the time they had to preserve their primeval essence, they would no longer be able to battle freely. He tribe's higher-level battle strength finally had something to do as they suppressed the three of them. He Lu Lan, today, I did not lose to you, but I lost to Tai by Yunsheng and Changshan Yin. Lu Wenwu's hair was messy as his body was covered in injuries. He no longer had his gentlemanlike attitude as he shouted indignantly. He felt that, with their three brothers' killer move, 3 heads 6 arms, they had great battle strength and could suppress the battlefield. If back then, they got to Fang Yuan and used their supreme speed to kill Fang Yuan, the wolf group would have collapsed and He tribe would have lost. The initial instance of this chapter being available happened at N0v3L.bin. But Tai Bai Yunsheng had the rank 5 healing Gu man as before. The effect was godly, it greatly weakened the effectiveness of their killer move. When they were left with no choice and chased after Wolf King, they found that the enslavement master Changshan Yin was actually a mother ********** ing flying master. The three brothers could not catch him, they could only watch the battle crumble. Eventually, Lu tribe lost and was chased down by He tribe. They suffered great losses and countless people surrendered. As the alliance leader, Lu Wenwu and others were captured after their primeval essence was depleted. He tribe and Lu tribe had always been competing, the two super tribes had a tense relationship, it was well known in northern plains. Now, He tribe only captured Lu Wenwu and others and did not kill them, they wisely sought for a great amount of battle reparation from Lu tribe. Lu Wenwu was one of Lu tribe's prospective Gu immortals. If he was killed, the bottom line of this imperial court contest's rules would be infringed. More importantly, although He tribe won, it was a tragic victory and they suffered huge losses as well. Without Lu Wenwu to bargain for huge amounts of compensation, just ordinary battle gains would not allow He tribe to regain their strength. This was very disadvantageous for their future battles for the imperial court. 3 days later, Lu tribe's envoy came, and brought all of the Lu tribesmen and the tribes that submitted to them back into the blessed land. As for the tired and heavily damaged He tribe army, they set up camp and managed the people who surrendered, reforming their alliance and collating the battle gains, giving out resources and digesting the spoils of war. In the large lizard house Gu, Fang Yuan sat on the cushion as he cultivated intently. A rank 4 wolf soul Gu appeared out of his body through his will. The wolf soul Gu was only thumb size, it was like a tiny gray wolf-shaped doll, it floated in the air as it was covered in an eerie blue light. The primeval sea level in Fang Yuan's aperture dropped as primeval essence was injected into the wolf soul Gu, causing it to expand rapidly. Howl! Wolf soul Gu expanded and turned into a pure gray wolf soul, as large as an elephant. Next, the wolf soul opened its mouth and howled soundlessly, crashing towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan smiled lightly, how could a 1,000-man soul be so easily affected? The wolf soul crashed on his 1,000-man soul, and immediately froze, suppressed by his 1,000-man soul. The two souls tangled as they turned into mist. A moment later, the wolf soul fused into the 1,000-man soul and reappeared. At this moment, the 1,000-man soul had a long pair of wolf ears on its head, its body was thinner than Fang Yuan's body, and its nose also became sharper. The only part that had not changed were its long hair, eyes, and tail. Ever since the imperial court competition, I have been using wolf soul Gu daily to refine my soul. Now, I have achieved small success, my soul is around 30% wolfman soul. Once he fully converts to wolfman soul, his control over the wolf group would experience another qualitative change. Not only would the numbers increase greatly, he would be able to command them like an extension of his limbs, controlling them would require a mere thought. After an intense battle, his soul's tiredness and weariness would also be lower. But according to this speed, by the time I completely refine the wolfman soul, the imperial court contest would be over already. I only have rank 4 wolf soul Gu, the efficiency is way too slow. Fang Yuan sighed. If he had rank 5 wolf soul Gu, that would be better compared to Fang Yuan's current situation. But rank 4 wolf soul Gu was like a grown man using a tiny knife to chop a tree. In truth, Fang Yuan's soul cultivation was already very fast. Ordinary Gu masters needed to spend at least 20 to 30 years to reach his level. Even a genius Gu master with a clan support could only be like Dong Fang Yuliang, reducing the time needed to 10 years. Fang Yuan had Dang Hun Mountain, his soul foundation grew at rocket speed, his point of view was obviously different. If I can get that thieving heaven inheritance, and obtain Luo Pa Valley. Fang Yuan's thoughts drifted to this. But a moment later, he stopped this thought. In Hu immortal blessed land, Dang Hun Mountain was corroded by the gruel mud continuously, there was only a small mountain left now. His current objective was to save Dang Hun Mountain. As for Luo Pa Valley, he could only search for it after the imperial court contest ends. While Fang Yuan was cultivating, Chang Biao brought Enai Shui Tong, and Chang Jiyu to the door of the large lizard house Gu. I am Chang Biao, I was summoned by Lord Wolf King. Chang Biao's voice was low and polite, he respectfully informed the guarding Gu master. The two rank 3 Gu masters had a plain expression as they stood by the door, one answered, Lord Wolf King is cultivating now, we cannot enter the Gu house to inform him, you will have to wait. He, that is only natural. Chang Biao laughed, trying to conceal the bitterness and dreariness in his heart. He and Chang Shan had a huge grudge, he would not be willing to submit to He tribe. Originally, he wanted to go to Lu tribe, but Lu tribe wanted him to give up his family name and join Lu tribe, this request was impossible for Chang tribesmen and the elders to accept. Chang tribe was a large-sized tribe, once they gave up their family name and became Lu tribesmen, Chang tribe would cease to exist. Furthermore, He Lulan captured Lu Wenwu alive and in order to appeal to the most important person Chang Shan, he added in the condition of taking over Chang tribe among the battle reparation. Thus, Chang tribe became the sacrificial lamb in Lu and He tribe's transaction. If Chang tribe did not submit to He tribe, they would be assaulted by He tribe's army. Forced by both tribes, Chang tribe had no choice but to lower their heads to He Lulan, becoming He tribe's captives. Chang Shan and Chang tribe's enmity was known to all. After He Lulan captured Chang tribe, he let Fang Yuan deal with them completely. After Fang Yuan got the news, he expressed his gratitude to He Lulan, but in fact, he did not care about it. He was only using Chang Shan Yin's identity, in order to enter the imperial court blessed land. Wolf King's grudges had nothing to do with him. But if he settled this casually, it would not fit his current status, and people would get suspicious. Thus, Fang Yuan informed Chang tribe's current leader Chang Biao to meet him. Chang Biao waited from evening to midnight. At this period of time, northern plains nights were extremely cold. Chang Biao and the others had their gu worms confiscated, the primeval essence in their apertures could not resist the cold. Under the blowing night wind, they were shivering from the cold. Chang Biao kept a calm expression, but Ni Shui Tong was very guilty, she could not conceal the worry in her heart. Chang Jiyu was young and at the peak of his health, although his nose was red from the cold, and his body was shivering, his eyes were shining brightly with excitement. All his life, he had been hearing about the Wolf King Chang Shan Yin and his great deeds. Everyone called him the hero's son, he was gifted this unique status from birth, this gave him great worries, pride, trouble, and even chance encounters. When he had first heard about Wolf King Chang Shan Yin being alive and had returned, but wanted to exact revenge on Chang tribe, he had very complicated feelings. When he found out that he was going to battle his father, his intense battle intent wavered. During the earlier meeting, Chang Shan Yin did not appear, in fact he went to bash up Sun Shirhan, this made Chang Jiyu feel disappointed but also great admiration. After Lu tribe lost, he became a captive but that made him sigh in relief, he no longer needed to fight with his father. Right now after Lu tribe lost, he was going to meet his real father, Chang Jiyu was very excited in his heart. Even though he was outside shivering and suffering from the weather, it could not freeze the hot-bloodedness in him. The person who gave me everything, my father, what kind of person are you? He was very curious, but he also felt a bit lost and anxious. After using 3 wolf soul gu, Fang Yuan opened his eyes. The sound of the icy wind blowing outside the window could be heard in the warm room. Fang Yuan purposely gave Chang Biao a display of authority, after counting the time that had passed, he knew it was time. Thus, he transmitted his message while controlling the large lizard house Gu and opened the doors. Lord Wolf King has finished his cultivation, he will meet you now. The Gu master guards outside received the transmission and said expressionlessly. Chang Biao's breathing paused, he felt great trepidation as he walked in first, with heavy footsteps. If Wolf King found out the truth, then he would die without a proper corpse, his reputation would be ruined. Even if Wolf King did not find out the truth, as long as he wanted revenge, killing the whole of Chang tribe would only be a sentence worth of work. Being meat on the chopping block, this was the helplessness of being in this world. Fang Yuan looked at the 3 people kneeling before him. Chang Biao lowered his head, gritting his teeth, while Ni Shui Tong had a pale expression and was shivering. As for Chang Jiyu, he was breathing roughly, but he took peeks at Chang Shan Yin at times, showing an excited expression. Fang Yuan laughed lightly. The laughter was heard by all 3 of them, causing them to shudder. Chang Biao shut his eyes, his heart had sank to rock bottom, he was waiting for judgment. Ni Shui Tong almost collapsed on the ground weakly, but Chang Jiyu was very agitated, this was father's laughter, he felt a strong sense of warmth from this laugh. Chapter 536, Major Battles. Fang Yuan observed Chang Biao and the others' expressions fully. Fang Yuan knew about Wolf King Chang Shan Yin's matters mostly from his biography, he did not know the true culprit behind Wolf King's situation. But even if he found out, he would not bother taking revenge for the dead Wolf King. He was Fang Yuan, the so-called Chang Shan Yin was merely a mask. From today onwards, I will be Chang tribe's one and only supreme elder. Fang Yuan spoke, breaking the silence. Chang Biao's body shuddered, he opened his eyes and quickly bowed, Chang Biao pays respect to Lord Supreme Elder. Fang Yuan nodded, we need to investigate the matters from back then thoroughly. But now is not the time, we have to wait till the imperial court contest ends. From today onwards, I will be Chang tribe's sole supreme elder. Chang Jiyu, you will be the tribe leader. Chang Biao will be the number 1 elder. Ni Shui Tong, our relationship is over, continue to be Chang Biao's wife. Because of Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's tradition, in northern plains, women had lowly status, they were often sold as commodity in transactions. In fact, at times, when an esteemed guest comes to visit, the lord would send his own wife to the esteemed guest to sleep with him. Ah! Chang Jiyu was stunned on the spot, he froze completely. Ni Shuetong did not speak. Chang Biao controlled the shock in his heart, he bowed once again, this subordinate understands. Leave. Fang Yuan waved his hand, sending them away. He had to make good use of his time to continue cultivating. The three walked out of the large lizard house Gu in a daze, until the cold night wind blew on them and woke them up. I survived just like this. Chang Biao felt endless joy and happiness. But the matter back then was done flawlessly. Even though there are some traces here and there, after all these years, the evidences are long gone. Back then, I got close to Chang Shan-yin on purpose, and became good buddies with him. Now that Chang Shan-yin had gone through such a great change, plus it has already been so many years, it is normal for our relationship to turn bland. Chang Biao thought rapidly in his head. The current situation was way better than what he had expected. Although I was demoted from tribe leader to elder, most of my authority is intact. Chang Shan-yin still trusts me, seeing that he allowed me to be the #1 elder. As for making Chang Jiyu the new tribe leader, it shows that he is still caring about his own blood and flesh deeply. As long as he cares about his old relationships and friendships, everything will be easy to resolve. Chang Biao thought and got more energetic. He was dreaming within his own world, and did not notice his wife Ni Shuetong's complicated expression. The old Chang Shan-yin was extremely infatuated with her beauty, but earlier, Chang Shan-yin did not give her even an extra glance. On the way here, she was extremely worried about Chang Shan-yin forcing her to his wife again. That way, she will be separated from her lover Chang Biao. That was too painful. But now, the situation was way better than she had expected. Not only did Chang Shan-yin not pursue the matters back then, he even allowed her to remain as Chang Biao's wife. This was the result that Ni Shuetong was dreaming of earlier. She should be happy, but for some reason, while she still felt some trepidation from earlier, there was also a sense of loss in her, that she did not want to admit. As for Chang Jiyu, he was in great joy, confusion, and suspicion. I've finally met father, he was just a few steps in front of me. He is much more authoritative than I imagined. Father did not call me his son, but instead called my name. Is he unaware that I am his flesh and blood? But father, why did he let me become Chang tribe leader? I am so young and only have rank 3 cultivation, can I do it? I get it. This must be a test from father. He is testing me, this son he had never met. If I can manage the tribe well and achieve outstanding results, will he feel happy and proud, will he recognize me as his son? Thinking so, Chang Jiyu felt extremely excited. He made up his mind, he would exert all his efforts and perform well in the upcoming fight for the imperial court. Fang Yuan would not expect that his simple arrangements would bring such great emotional changes in Chang Biao and gang. But even if he knew, he would not care. In the 500 years of his past life, Chang Shan-yin helped Ma Hongyun to ascend to the position of the Lord of the Imperial Court. He also had complete control over Chang tribe. Different from Earth, when strength can be accumulated within a person, the stronger one is, the greater their authority would be. At this point, Fang Yuan was no longer the low-rank Gu master on Qing Mao Mountain, suppressed and weakened by the system. Right now, he had the authority to manipulate and change the power system of a tribe. One could say, he was at the peak of the mortal realm. He knew in his heart, all this was because of the great strength that he had. Right now, my first aperture had already adapted, I can use rank 5 peak stage primeval essence. My second aperture has also reached rank 5 middle stage. My 2 apertures have 90% a great aptitude. To use my 2 sets of Gu worms now, I have ample primeval essence. But enslavement and strength path Gu worms are not extremely strong. In terms of strength path, after getting the rank 5 Amplify Effect Gu, my explosive force is already high enough, except that my body is unable to endure the increment in strength. Earlier, when fighting against Lu Wenwu and his brother's combination killer move, 3 heads 6 arms, Fang Yuan could definitely fight against them using his strength path cultivation. But Fang Yuan knew clearly that the moment he unleashed 500 June of strength, regardless of how his opponent will ends up, his own body would definitely crumble first. My bones are impermanence bones. My skin is turtle jade wolf skin. To sustain 500 June of strength, this is not enough. But if I modify my muscles and tendons to accommodate strength path, they would not suit my enslavement path. If I modify them for enslavement path, they will not aid my strength path. The root of the problem is that enslavement and strength have some conflict between them, it is difficult to cultivate them together. It is unlike soul and enslavement path, or soul and wisdom path. This problem had always been troubling Fang Yuan. If he could not resolve this, Fang Yuan's enslavement and strength path would only go far, but would not reach the apex and attain ultimate strength. Although Fang Yuan had information regarding Luo Pa Valley now, the future was uncertain, anything could happen. Fang Yuan was a vigilant guy, before getting Luo Pa Valley, he would not make up his mind to cultivate soul path, thus, he needed to perfect his enslavement strength path route now. Fang Yuan closed his eyes and thought about it, before opening them and taking out East Window Gu from his aperture. N. The Epsilon Lb N, a haven for bookworms and dreamers. This Gu was a storage Gu, used to store information, it came from Langya Land's spirit. Inside East Window Gu, there was information regarding the killer move 3 heads 6 arms. This killer move was extremely powerful, it could allow Lu Wenwu, Ouyang Bai Sang, and Mo Shi Kuang to become a giant monster, increasing their battle strength to a terrifying level. After He tribe defeated Lu tribe, they make requests regarding this killer move, thus it became a part of the reparation. Thereafter, Fang Yuan exchanged for it using his battle merits. These days, when Fang Yuan was free, he would research about this killer move. When Gu masters use multiple Gu worms at the same time, allowing their effects to merge and cooperate to form greater effects, that would be the so-called Gu master killer move. Killer move 3 heads 6 arms, needed 18 Gu worms to be used at the same time. Gu worms used ranged from rank 3 to 5, the primeval essence expenditure was huge as well. At the same time, 3 Gu masters were needed, one could not activate it alone. This killer move was unusable by Fang Yuan. But that did not mean it was worthless to him. Killer move, or recipes, displayed exquisite usage of Gu worms. Why was it that when these Gu worms were used in a specific way, they achieved such effects? Why can these Gu worms do it, but not others? If this Gu was changed to another Gu, can the same effect be achieved? If an enemy uses this killer move, what ways are there to counter it? Man is the spirit of all being, Gu is the essence of heaven and earth. Inside a Gu, there were tiny laws of heaven and earth, the fragments of the great Tao. By understand Gu, one would comprehend the great Tao, and understand the natural laws of this world. Just like on earth, using experiments to learn scientific theories. This Gu recipe gave great insight to Fang Yuan. If I had 3 heads and 6 arms, what would happen? A flash of inspiration appeared in his brain, like opening a new window. His body was like the cornerstone. Enslavement and strength path were like the buildings on top of the cornerstone. Right now, this cornerstone was still small, thus the 2 buildings could only be low-rising. If he expanded this cornerstone in the future, would it be able to contain 2 tall buildings at the same time? Fang Yuan had never cared about his own appearance. Handsome, beauty, ugly, these were other people's opinions. What did that have to do with him? If his battle strength was high, so what if he was called a monster? Northern Plains, July. The weather was turning cold, mist turned into frost, it was raining non-stop. All the armies engaged in many intense battles, there were already less than 50 left. Although He tribe won against Lu tribe, they suffered a great loss as well. They set up camp and made use of all their time to recuperate and recover, like an injured beast. Middle of July. At Dujiao region, Yi Lui army defeated the alliance of 7 armies. On the day of the counterattack, Yi Lui Sang killed 3 rank 5 Gu masters. But in this battle, the biggest achiever was a hidden elder in Qi Lian tribe, Qi Lian tribe leader's godson, Wu Ming. Wu Ming was a rank 5 middle-stage dark path Gu master. During the battles, he snuck into the enemy camp and assassinated the enemies, successfully killing 2 rank 5 experts, 13 rank 4 Gu masters, causing the 7 alliance armies to feel great fear and low morale. Northern Plains, August. After Yang tribe recruited enslavement master Jiang Baoya, their strength surged and they experienced many victories. After some battles, they were one of the new popular competitors for the imperial court. The new enslavement master, Leopard King Nu Air Tu led his army against Tao tribe. Tao tribe alliance army had suffered many setbacks during the battles. The alliance leader Tao Yu knew that he had no hopes of ascending to the Lord of Imperial Court position. Thus, he submitted to Nu Air Tu, and after their armies combined, their military power surged. Middle of August, He Lu Lan gave orders to resume their conquest. By September, the imperial court contest was starting to clear up. Only 5 armies had the highest hopes. He tribe, which had Chang Shan Yin, Tai Bai Yun Sheng, Nu Air tribe with the new Leopard King, Ong tribe which had Rat King and Eagle King, Ma tribe with Horse King, as well as Yi Lui tribe which had Yi Lui Sang who possessed an immortal Gu. First half of September, Nu Air tribe army fought Yang tribe army. The leopard group could not contest the combination of eagles and rats. After half a month, Nu Air Tu lost. Start of October, while Yang tribe was digesting the battle reparations, Yi Lui Sang targeted them. Yang tribe army had people who wanted to fight, some wanted to defend, while some wanted to retreat. Because of differing opinions, the army could not execute proper orders, and thus, was taken down by Yi Lui Sang. After Yi Lui Sang win, they could not gloat for long, because Ma tribe had their eyes on them. Ma tribe rushed for 3 days and 3 nights, catching Yi Lui Sang off guard. A similar scene unfolded again. Before Yi Lui army digested their battle gains, they were defeated by Ma tribe. Yi Lui Sang escaped with his remaining troops, submitting to He tribe army. Start of November, He tribe moved north rapidly, setting up 8 defensive lines on the way, and during the middle of the month, engaged in the final battle with Ma tribe. Only the victor could stay in the imperial court. Meanwhile, the loser would have to pay reparations and face the 10-year blizzard amidst disappointment and pity. At once, this battle attracted numerous gazes, both participants and the people behind the scenes. During the first few battles, He tribe had the advantage. After Ma tribe lost 2 defensive lines, they retreated to the 3rd. Yi Lui Sang wanted to take revenge, thus he kept challenging them, killing till Ma tribe army could only hide and defend themselves, causing their morale to dampen. Ma tribe had no choice, but to seek help from Snowy Mountain Blessed Land who was backing them. Chapter 537, Xianxia. The lofty snowy mountain stood tall and reached through the clouds. Mountain ranges surrounded it like stars surrounding the moon. The sky had a hue of light blue color. Thin snow fluttered lightly and landed on the ground. This was a spotlessly white region with even the buildings on the mountain carved out of ice crystals. Here was Snowy Mountain Blessed Land. The nest of Northern Plains demonic path Gu immortals, with tens of Gu immortals occupying different peaks. On one of the peaks of Snowy Mountain, green pine trees grew everywhere and a 7-story pavilion made of ice crystal stood there. 3 large words were carved on the board in the pavilion, Shuesong Pavilion. The owner of this peak, Xianxia, was a famous rank 6 demonic path Gu immortal of northern plains. He was tall and thin with snow-white hair that reached the ground and was clothed in a light blue gown. Right now, he was on the top floor of Shuesong Pavilion, looking down at this snowy mountain branch peak that belonged exclusively to him. He had deep blue eyes and his deep gaze swept through 1,000 li of his territory. The snow pines are growing well, the snow willows planted 2 years ago have already grown to over 10,000 willows. This year, the number of Gu worms produced was close to 300 rank 5 Gu. There are still a surplus of ice path and water path Gu worms after leaving some for research. I can sell them and gain at least 2-3 immortal essence stones. Of course, my most important income source is still the transaction of snowmen slaves. Shuesongzi raised 6 variant human tribes on his branch peak, they were all snowmen. Snowman was one of the species of variant humans who lived in ice-cold snowy regions. They had white skin, icy blue eyes and aqua blue hair. When they die, their blood and flesh body would turn into an ice sculpture. Snowmen normally did not cry or laugh, so their tears were very rare. The absolute majority of the snowmen would never experience crying from joy or pain in their life. However, if a snowman sheds tears, their tear would instantly condense into ice. Icy tears were precious Gu refinement material that Gu masters liked deeply. Shuesongzi looked around once and nodded, satisfied. The initial instance of this chapter being available happened at N0v3L.bin. Snowmen looked expressionless, but Shuesongzi, however, saw them as the variant humans with spirituality that was the closest to humans. Many Gu immortals raised snowmen, torturing them brutally for their icy tears. Icy tears could be used in many areas of Gu refinement, and so its transaction in Treasure Yellow Heaven was flourishing. Many Gu immortals massacred and killed snowmen to profit from their icy tears. Shuesongzi also did such shady business before, but he soon discovered the market for trading snowmen was much more profitable than the icy tears themselves. From then onwards, he began to raise snowmen and sell them in Treasure Yellow Heaven for other Gu immortals to torture. Snowmen could shed tears at most 3 times in their life and the amount would not surpass 60 drops. Every time they shed tears, the snowman's lifespan and life essence would decrease by a huge amount. The more the snowman sheds tears, the faster they will age, speeding up their death. However, raising snowmen did not cost much. Moreover, Shuesongzi possessed this snowy mountain branch peak which was very beneficial for the growth of snow pines, snow trees and snowmen, thus his profit from selling snowmen was much higher than when he sold tears. He was good at making money and had accumulated a large amount of immortal essence stones from his thriving business over the years, and was considered wealthy in the Gu immortal circle. But he had one great regret: decades had gone by since he became rank 6 Gu immortal, but he still did not have even one immortal Gu. No matter how many immortal essence stones he had, he was not able to buy immortal Gu. After all, there was only one of each immortal Gu, others would not sell them even if they had it. At most, they would use immortal Gu to exchange for immortal Gu. Now, my tribe has already reached the final step. If it can prevail over He tribe and enter Imperial Court, maybe I can obtain my first immortal Gu from 88 Truyang Building. Shuesongzi was thinking of all the matters, when suddenly he had a feeling and casually waved his hand. Space tore open and a letter Gu flew in. Shuesongzi read the letter, which was my tribe's request for help. So they have finally gotten to this stage. The corner of Shuesongzi's lips curled up into a smile. He had been paying close attention to the struggle for Imperial Court and already knew the difficulties my tribe was facing. Previously, he had gotten in contact with my tribe, but my tribe had not made a decision. Now, due to the tense battle situation, my tribe sent a request for assistance. It was akin to agreeing to his previous conditions. With this, it is time to make my move. Shuesongzi gradually restrained his smile and activated Divine Sense Gu. 3 divine senses separately flew towards 3 snowman tribes on the snowy peak. After receiving the divine sense, 3 snowman Gu masters immediately hurried towards the mountain peak. After a while, they were kneeling in front of Shui Song Pavilion and greeted together, Shui Hua, Shui Mi and Shui Ming greet Lord Immortal. Shui Song Zi did not reveal himself, instead sent some Gu worms towards these 3 snowmen's hands. Take these Gu worms and also battle Troop D to the outside world and find my tribe, help them win the battle. Shui Song Zi sent another divine sense. As you command. The 3 snowman Gu masters immediately accepted the order. Shui Song Zi had 4 battle troops marked A, B, C and D. They were elite troops formed from experts of the 6 snowman tribes. The 3 snowman Gu masters led battle troop D out of the snowy mountain blessed land, but before they even reached my tribe, He tribe's Gu immortals noticed them. Elder brother, this my tribe has relations to Snowy Mountain's demonic path Gu immortals as we expected. The evidence is out in the open now. Lu tribe's external supreme elder Gu immortal Tan Baiya was not wrong. He Bai said to He Cheng in Shao Hun blessed land. These 2 were He tribe's Gu immortals. He Bai had an ordinary appearance and looked to be middle-aged. He looked clumsy but was intelligent. While He Cheng was recognized as He tribe's genius since young, he looked elegant and confident, and was also He Lu Lan's father. He Cheng glanced at He Bai and calmly said, "Brother, do not fret. Demonic path Gu immortals have always been lone wolves. Snowy Mountain might be strong and have tens of Gu immortals, but those that are supporting my tribe will only be 2-3 at most." He Bai nodded, "Elder brother is right, but the current my tribe is truly strong. They were able to win great battles just by relying on themselves previously. Now if they obtain Gu immortal support, they are bound to get much stronger." He Cheng was in agreement as he asked, "Have you investigated who the demonic path Gu immortals supporting my tribe are?" "I haven't, but it should be easy." "Do it. For the next few days, we will buy 500,000 wolves, 300 mutated wolves, 2 wolf emperors and a few thousand Gu worms along with other resources to give to He Lu Lan." "Yes, elder brother." "Also, instruct He Lu Lan to end the battle quickly so as to avoid new problems." He Bai gave an understanding nod, and left Shao Hun blessed land without speaking any more. A war did not only pit human lives against each other, it was more about the competition between each other's foundations, a war of attrition. The struggle for imperial court had advanced to the final stage. He Cheng and He Bai, 2 immortals who had been supporting He Lu Lan, gradually started to feel an extremely heavy burden. Although Gu immortals were rich, they could not support the whole army for such a long period of time. The amount of resources and mortal Gu needed were extremely enormous. A part came from their blessed land, but most of them were purchased from Treasure Yellow Heaven using immortal essence stones. With such huge amounts of immortal essence stones being expended, both He Bai and He Cheng felt distressed inwardly. The struggle for imperial court was essentially a game. But it was not a game all Gu immortals could afford to play. Many Gu immortals would put huge stakes in this game to obtain an immortal Gu. In the end, if the side they chose did not become the owner of imperial court, they would lose disastrously. There were even examples of going bankrupt. But if they won and obtained immortal Gu from 88 True Yang building, all their investment would be worth it. After all, no matter how many immortal essence stones they had, they would not be able to buy an immortal Gu. After 10 days, He tribe and Ma tribe began another round of battle. Troops lined up in a seemingly endless battle formation. In the main tent, He Lu Lan sat on the main seat with his eyes gazing at his front and his heroic spirit was overflowing. "We did not cause huge damage to Ma tribe the previous 2 times, we will teach them a good lesson this time. It is not that easy to become a super tribe, Who will go first?" The moment he finished speaking, Water Demon Hao Ji Lu stood up and bowed, "Lord Alliance Leader, I would like to go first." He Lu Lan nodded in satisfaction. Water demon Hao Ji Lu was an expert who had chosen to submit to him since the heroes' assembly. And he had been assisting and fighting in the struggle for imperial court the whole journey, and killed countless enemies and had made huge battle contributions at this stage. Although Pei Yan Fei also attached to He tribe after Lu Wenwu lost, he could not shake rank for Hao Ji Lu's position as the first general. Hao Ji Lu was an old general of He tribe army, and adding in the loyalty which he had revealed many times, if nothing unexpected happened, he would be taken in as an external elder by He tribe once they become the owner of imperial court. He tribe was a super tribe with Huang Jin bloodline, one of the overlords of northern plains. If Hao Ji Lu joined He tribe, it would be like taking a shelter under a large tree, similar to wine demon Tan Wu Feng joining Dong Fang tribe. Hao Ji Lu entered the battlefield and started taunting. Ma Shangfeng snorted and pointed at him, "This water demon again, who will go teach him a lesson? Lord Alliance leader, let me go take care of him this time." A boorish guy stood up. He was Ma tribe's general, rank 4 transformation path Gu master, Cheng Hu. Ma Shangfeng agreed. Cheng Hu impatiently went to the front line and started fighting Hao Ji Lu. Hao Ji Lu attacked cleverly with great offense, torrents surging around him. Because of many precious and rare Gu he had exchanged with his battle merits, Hao Ji Lu's current battle strength far surpassed the time when he had just started out in the struggle for imperial court. The two sides exchanged moves after moves, and after over 10 rounds, Hao Ji Lu slowly began to occupy the upper hand. Cheng Hu felt stifled as kept on being pushed into disadvantage. He gave a furious roar and activated his killer move, transforming into Slant-Eye Tiger. The tiger was ferocious and powerful, immediately turning around the losing situation. Hao Ji Lu was widely known for his fierce offense, but he was having trouble fending off the tiger's attacks, and could only keep on retreating, changing his battle tactics into defending and counterattacking. Chapter 538, Challenge. Swoosh swoosh. A blue water current shot out. Slant-Eye Tiger roared in a thunderous volume. This was the rank 4 Tiger Roar Gu. The Tiger Roar sound waves caused ripples in the air. As it hit the currents, the water exploded into a huge rain. After Cheng Hu became the Slant-Eye Tiger, he had great offense, immediately giving off a dominating aura. Tiger Roar Gu sends out sound waves. Tiger Claw Gu has overwhelming sharpness. Tiger Skin Gu has superb defense. Tiger Tooth Gu is pointy like spears, has amazing penetration ability. Tiger Tail Gu, strong like a whip, moving like one's arms. Transformation Path Gu masters would collect relevant Gu worms for their killer move. Once the Gu worm set is complete, they would be able to transform and obtain a huge qualitative surge in their battle strength. Of course, the stronger the transformation, the more valuable the Gu needed for their set, and the harder it is to collect them. Even if a Gu master could transform, they needed a lot of training. Humans were born to walk on 2 legs, having 2 arms and 1 head. If they transformed into another form, it would not be easy for them to adapt. Same as flying, only huge amounts of training and talent would allow one to have great proficiency in using their new form. Gu masters nurture, use, and refine Gu. This was the deep profound aspect of using Gu. The two armies placed their gaze on the battle ahead. Hao Ji Lu and Cheng Hu's battle had already reached the crucial moment. Cheng Hu used his killer move, turning into the Slant-Eye Tiger. He had the advantage. Hao Ji Lu could only evade primarily. Compared to his earlier frenzied attacks, he was truly pathetic now. However, as time continued to pass, the battle was still stuck at a deadlock. Although Cheng Hu had a huge advantage, he could not turn this advantage into victory. Even though most of Ma tribe's troops were rejoicing, the people sitting inside Ma tribe's main tent were frowning. Not good, this water demon is very crafty. Cheng Hu is in danger. Ma Yingjie said. Many of the experts around nodded in agreement. Although killer moves were strong, in truth, they were actually multiple Gu used at the same time. This meant that primeval essence expenditure was very high. For normal Gu masters, this was a double-edged sword. After Cheng Hu used his killer move, with Water Demon Hao Ji Lu's plentiful experience, he immediately changed his hard-hitting tactics. As Cheng Hu was unable to take down Water Demon in time, after his primeval essence was expended, he would return to human form. By then, Water Demon Hao Ji Lu would retaliate. Ma Shangfeng looked calm, but his heart sank. If this was the past, Cheng Hu's success or failure would not bother him. But now, Cheng Hu's victory or loss was not his problem alone, it concerned the morale of the entire army. Ma tribe had lost twice already. Ma Shangfeng knew that the tribes that submitted to them had already wavered. Ma tribe army was led by Ma tribe, the other tribes were needed to make the alliance. Once their hearts wavered, the situation would turn dangerous. Ma Shangfeng did not wish to see Cheng Hu fail. But with the current situations, Cheng Hu was very likely to fail. Ma Shangfeng could only sigh in his heart as he called, Fei Xingcheng. Fei Xingcheng immediately stepped up, placing his right palm at his heart, bowing, I am here. You will go for the second battle. Ma Shangfeng said. In order to alleviate the negative influences caused by Cheng Hu's defeat, he placed his hopes on Fei Xingcheng. Fei Xingcheng was a fierce general. Earlier, he was ostracized by Fei tribe, and could not rise up. Ma tribe thus used him as an insider, and during Fei tribe's internal political strife, they launched a surprise attack while they were weak and managed to take down Fei tribe. After Fei Xingcheng submitted to Ma tribe, which was a wise ruler, he made many accomplishments and was highly regarded and nurtured. Right now, he came before the battle area and shouted. He is Fei Xingcheng. Ever since the imperial court contest, he had killed 8 rank 4 experts. In an earlier battle, he used Numbness Gu and fought 3 experts of the same realm alone, showing great abilities. In He tribe main tent, Sun Shihan said. Yi Lui Sang's expression was cold. The earlier battle, cunning gentleman Sun Shihan mentioned was the battle between Ma tribe and Yi Lui tribe. In the end, Yi Lui Sang lost and was chased by Ma tribe, almost becoming a vagabond. The tribes that submitted to Yi Lui tribe, like Qi Lian tribe, all went to Ma tribe. Numbness Gu, a rare rank 4 Gu, had value equivalent to a rank 5. Once a Gu master was struck, they would be paralyzed, unable to move. Although it lasted a short time, during an intense battle, this was a very deadly technique. He Lu Lan responded in agreement, and looked around, asking, who can battle? Once he said so, one person laughed heartily and stood up, Fei Xingcheng is nothing much, I am willing to battle and sweep the obstacles away in your path to conquest. He Lu Lan looked at this person, it was none other than Soul Blade Pan Ping. Earlier, Pan Ping was defeated by Lu tribe's 3 brothers combination move, and was revived by Tai Bai Yunxing using Man as before Gu after the battle. Not just him, Gao Yang and Zhu Zai were revived in the same way. Alright, then you shall go. He Lu Lan nodded. If this was during the start of the battle, he would not think highly of Pan Ping. But after tens of battles, Pan Ping was no longer like before, he had grown quickly to become an expert like Pei Yan Fei. Fei tribe lad, you are just a traitor, a shameless scoundrel seeking glory. You being alive is the greatest humiliation, quickly receive your death. Pan Ping jumped onto the battlefield and shouted, surging with battle intent. Fei Xingcheng was furious, he hated people who called him this, you are just a demonic path bastard, earlier I let you act arrogantly because you did not anger me yet. Immediately, the two fought. At once, the scene was bursting with attacks as they were evenly matched. When 2 experts on par with each other battle, it would be an intense battle. Actually, the 2 of them had similar circumstances. At the start of the Imperial Court contest, the 2 of them were people who were not doing well. Pan Ping was a demonic path Gu master, he lived a tough life. As for Fei Xingcheng, he was suppressed by his clan and could not achieve his goals. But because of this imperial court contest, the two gained fame and emerged from the battles while gaining great surge in strength. Pan Ping only had one good Gu back then, Soul Blade Gu. But now, he used his battle merits to exchange for an exquisite set of Gu worms. His strength grew by leaps and bounds. It was unlike before when he relied on Soul Blade Gu alone. Fei Xingcheng was the same. Earlier, he was ostracized in his clan, even though he had a complete set of Gu worms, he lacked strong effective methods. He had also accumulated battle merits in battle, and exchanged the rank 5 equivalent numbness Gu, paired with his Gu worms, his battle strength rose sharply. The two of them engaged with each other endlessly, but they both had their concerns. Pan Ping was afraid of numbness Gu, while Fei Xingcheng was guarding against Soul Blade Gu. Speaking of the Soul Blade Gu, it was Pan Ping's good luck, it resides in the scimitar instead of the Gu master's body or aperture. After Pan Ping was blown to bits, only the Soul Blade Gu survived. After that, when Tai Bai Yun Xing revived him, he lost all of his Gu worms except Soul Blade Gu. And thankfully, Pan Ping had a lot of battle merits which he had not used. But Gao Yang and Zhu Zai were not so lucky. After they died, they lost all their Gu worms. Most unfortunately, Gao Yang's rank 5 treacherous Cloud Wave Gu was destroyed as well. Rank 5 man as before Gu, it could only target human bodies and not Gu worms. But the two felt calm, after all, being able to revive was the biggest benefit. Thereafter, they borrowed battle merits to replenish their Gu worms. After several battles, not only did they return all the battle merits they owed, they even had some gains left. The battle of two rank 4 experts attracted countless gazes. Ma tribe saw that Fei Xingcheng and Pan Ping were at a deadlock, and sent out another 6 fierce generals. He Lu Lan accepted all the challenges, sending Pei Yan Fei, Gao Yang, Zhu Zai and others. When the 6 pair of experts battled, Cheng Hu finally lost. Water demon Hao Ji Lu had no strength to chase after him, he could only watch Cheng Hu escape safely. He tribe's morale surged, but quickly, in the third battle, Ma tribe won, and tied the scores. The two sides continued to send experts, as more than 30 battle rings appeared before the two troops. That is so say, there were around 70 rank 4 Gu masters fighting at once. This was a grand scene. In the entire northern plains, there were billions of people, mostly being mortals, but only several hundred rank 4 Gu masters, and less than 50 rank 5 Gu masters. Precisely because of the battle for the imperial court, all these people gathered and collided with each other, competing intensely. In the battle for life and death, even stronger Gu masters emerge while the weak get exterminated. It was near the end of the fight for the imperial court. Be it He tribe or Ma tribe, they were both huge forces. Not counting Gu immortals, either army had a scale that surpassed super tribes greatly. All members of both armies were definitely excited and filled with ambitions. Only Fang Yuan was calm. In his previous life he had seen even larger events, that was the chaotic battle of the 5 regions, it was truly a time of unrest. Lord Alliance Leader, I would like to battle. A young rank 4 Gu master walked up as he could not contain his battle intent. This was none other than Gu Guang. Gu Guang was Gu tribe leader, he was originally rank 3, but after so many battles, he survived and gained a huge boost in strength, having advanced to rank 4 successfully not long ago. He Lu Lan was stunned, turning his gaze towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was Gu and Chang tribe's supreme elder, both tribes were under his control. Fang Yuan sensed He Lu Lan's inquisitive gaze and lightly commanded, "Stand down Gu Guang, you are a tribe leader, how can you put yourself at risk?" Gu Guang stepped down obediently. Fang Yuan asked, "Where is Chang Biao?" "Lord, I am here." Chang Biao had a sickly expression, he had yet to recover from his injuries from the previous battle. But Fang Yuan did not care about this, saying, "You will go fight." Chang Biao wanted to speak but he could not, filled with an intense rage in his heart. Ever since he joined the He Alliance army, he would be ordered by Fang Yuan to participate in every huge battle. Even if he was a famous expert, he could not undergo consecutive battles with such a high intensity. Damn it! This Chang Shan-yin, is he ordering me like a beast? Curse my current weak position, I cannot oppose him. I will wait and endure, there is still a long way to go. If I can harm you more than 10 years ago, I will still be able to send you to the underworld after so many years. Chang Biao screamed in his heart, but on the surface, he chose to obey Fang Yuan's orders, dragging his injured body into the battlefield. Chapter 539, Rank 5 Peak Stage. With Chang Biao taking the stage, Ma tribe sent a female expert. This person's name was Xianxia, a rank 4 peak stage Gu master, a famous expert of ice path. She possessed a rank 5 flying snow Gu which once activated could cause heavy snowfall and make a range of thousands of steps into an ice zone. When Chang Biao saw this expert, he inwardly said, "This will be difficult." Even if he was at his peak condition, he would have to be careful when facing this woman, let alone now in his injured state. The two started fighting. Xianxia had a sharp offense while Chang Biao kept on dodging to prolong the battle. With this, he was unavoidably pressed in a disadvantageous situation. The battles continued and as time passed, some rank 4 Gu masters lost, some retreated due to injuries and some died at the enemy's hand. There were casualties in both sides, but with regards to the overall situation, it was a draw. Slowly, there were fewer and fewer rank 4 Gu masters in the main tent of both sides, they did not have enough to mobilize. Gu tribe leader, please show your strength now. He Lu Lan's gaze landed on a man who was sitting upright. Gu tribe leader Gu Guolong was an earth path Gu master who had once given huge trouble to He tribe army by piling stones into a mountain, and made He Lu Lan have the thought of retreating. But after Tai Bai Yunxing arrived, He tribe won and Gu tribe merged with He tribe army as the defeated side. Gu Guolong's appearance shocked Ma tribe army. This was the first appearance of a rank 5 expert. Ma Shangfeng immediately responded by sending Qing tribe leader Qing Long. This person was a rank 5 expert of transformation path and was big brother of Cheng Hu. Gu Guolong bowed slightly upon seeing Qing Long and politely said, "So it is Qing tribe leader, please give me pointers." Qing Long chuckled, "I won't dare to teach tribe leader Guolong, let's just compare our moves." The two started their battle with such a huge momentum that it suppressed everyone and became the focal point of countless gazes. Gu Guolong could attack and defend with stable and unflustered movements, while Qing Long flew freely in the sky, fierce and calm. When the two had exchanged 20 moves, He Lu Lan sent another rank 5 expert Luo Bojun. Luo Bojun had previously sided with Lu Wenwu, but after Lu tribe lost against He tribe, he became one of the higher-ups of He tribe army. Ma tribe also sent out a rank 5 expert to take on Luo Bojun. With regards to rank 5 experts, Ma tribe was not inferior in any respect. Previously, New Heir 2 annexed Tao tribe but was then defeated by Yang tribe who was then attacked by Yi Lui tribe. In the end, Ma tribe defeated Yi Lui tribe, becoming the final winner. From this battle, Ma tribe gained many large tribes, Qi Lian tribe, Qing tribe, Zhao tribe, Lui tribe, Tao tribe, Yang tribe and other formidable forces. At the same time, they also gained Jiang Baoye and Yang Ping, and together with Ma Zun, they had 3 enslavement path masters. Rank 5 Gu masters mostly occupied positions of power and prestige. Their tone of speaking in the fight was much calmer and cordial in comparison to the boiling killing intent between the rank 4 Gu masters. When they attacked, they would also hold back some of their strength in consideration of each other's feelings. Because if they died, their tribe would become a leaderless group and would be swallowed by He tribe or Ma tribe. Although they were hostile to the enemy, their heart was still tied to their tribe's benefits. Even if they were under the constraints of poison vow, there were tacit unwritten rules. Fang Yuan calmly observed the battle from his seat. He had only showed rank for peak stage cultivation, but as an enslavement master and a key character that could influence the whole situation, his position was special and was higher than those rank 5 tribe leaders. What a great move by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, a truly wonderful plan. As he was personally participating in the struggle for imperial court, Fang Yuan truly felt more and more overwhelmed. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable left built 88 True Yang building as an inheritance for his descendants and at the same time, also set up imperial court contest tradition. One could tell he had pondered about it meticulously. Leaving aside 88 True Yang building, just this struggle for imperial court was a field of purging at every stage with Huang Jin tribes swallowed other tribes and strengthening themselves. At the same time, the gathering of goods developed the abnormally blooming battle merits economy during the battles. And through war reparations, technology and skills were exchanged, which further deepened the foundation of the Huang Jin family. What was even more important was the survival of the fittest rule, which forced Gu masters to exert their strength at the edge of life and death and become experts. For Huang Jin tribes, this was filtering out the Gu immortal seeds. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was no longer alive, but his influence was still governing the whole northern plains. Compared to the Immortal Venerable, I am only an ant-like existence at present. But it was also because I took advantage of this struggle for the imperial court that my strength could advance by leaps and bounds. Fang Yuan then divided a little of his concentration to look into his aperture. There were many new Gu worms in his aperture. Most were rank 4 with 1 rank 3 along with 1 rank 5 Azura Zombie Gu and 1 rank 5 Earth Overlord Gu. Ever since Fang Yuan had gained inspiration from 3 Heads 6 Arms Killer Move, he had been combining his foundation and imagination to make some progress in his research. He then condensed the research findings into a killer move which he called, 4-Arm Earth King. When he activates this killer move, a completely new pair of arms would grow out from his sides. His strength would increase sharply when he used all 4 of his arms, comparable to the killer move of Lu tribe's 3 brothers 3 heads 6 arms. But, compared to 3 arms 6 heads, my 4-Arm Earth King's form can only be maintained for a short time. I will only be able to exert full strength when my feet is touching the land. If I fly, my battle strength will fall by half. This killer move had been newly created by Fang Yuan and was still not perfected. He would need to examine this killer move through battles, add in some new Gu, replace unnecessary Gu or directly cut down on them, and slowly this killer move would be perfected. The sun gradually rose higher, but with blizzard disaster approaching closer, the normally intense hot sunlight appeared to have no heat. The surging battle intent on the battlefield gradually accumulated to the climax. All sorts of attacks burst out in dozens of battle rings like colorful fireworks, creating an extremely dazzling scene. There were only a few Gu masters left in the He tribe's main tent. The rest were either fighting, retreating, recovering, or had died in the battlefield. Considering the overall situation, He tribe was in a slightly weaker position. Since the start till now, He Lulan had obtained He Bai and He Cheng, 2 immortals' active support. While Ma tribe had only requested assistance from Xue Song Zi only at this battle. Humph, Ma tribe's bunch of trash can really take a beating. He Lulan snorted with a fierce gaze as he started getting impatient. His gaze landed on Fang Yuan and was just about to speak, when 3 beast groups rushed out of Ma tribe camp. From the left side, many horses galloped on the earth, causing the ground to rumble like a muffled lightning. From right side, countless rats rushed out while squeaking and hissing, so packed that it caused people to feel a chill down their spine. From the center, eagle group soared up like dark clouds, actually looking like it could cover the sky. Horse King Ma Zun, Rat King Jiang Baoye and Eagle King Yang Ping, these 3 enslavement path masters had moved at the same time. Beast groups charged, immediately dispersing most of the battle rings. Ma Shangfeng saw he was slightly winning in the experts challenging and wanted to rely on the dominance of their enslavement path masters to suppress He tribe army and change the unfavorable situation. Facing the combined attack of three beast groups, He Lulan immediately tensed up and looked at Fang Yuan. "Wolf King, it is your turn now." Fang Yuan nodded and leisurely stood up from his seat. The debut release of this chapter happened at Novuro LB1N. He slowly strolled to the head of the twin-headed rhino and looked down at the three beast groups. All of them were fierce, powerful and were huge in size. Either one of the three enslavement path masters were at the same level as him and were formidable opponents who would not lose to him in regards to enslavement path. It was to the extent that the enslavement path Gu worms they had were much more comprehensive and superior to Fang Yuan's wolf enslavement Gu worms. Under the condition that he did not reveal his strength path battle strength, Fang Yuan would find it hard to fight against this group by himself. In the previous 2 rounds of battle, his wolf group had all along been pushed into disadvantage by the 3 beast groups and had suffered huge losses. Meanwhile, Ma tribe had relied on this advantage to make the beast groups cover their backs and thus they could safely retreat behind defense lines the previous 2 times. But at this moment, Fang Yuan coldly laughed, his heart filled with soaring battle intent. His enslavement path Gu worms were slightly weaker in comparison to these 3 enslavement path masters, but he had received huge support from He tribe's Gu immortals before the battle and his wolf group's size had increased by over 10 times. These wolf groups were hidden within the army and by using some Gu worms, the enemy was unable to sense them. Wolf King. I am Yang Ping, do you dare to fight me? In the sky, Yang Ping was riding on a huge eagle, his heroic aura shone and his posture was upright as if it was a battle spear that would charge to the sky. He took the initiative to challenge in order to pin down Fang Yuan's wolf group. The eagle group could attack the wolf group from air, thus had a very advantageous position. Ha ha ha, old Yang, go easy on brother Chang Shan, after all he is an enslavement master like us. You need to give him some face. From the right, Rat King's ridiculing laughter could be heard. And on the left, among the horse group, Ma Zun who was not good at talking just groaned and charged forward. Around him were large number of Gu master experts on war horses, guarding him. Enslavement path masters could display extreme strength when they themselves were present in the battle while commanding their beast group. The 3 masters braved the risks and led their beast group in the charge. This was akin to 3 heavy punches. If the He tribe army did not block it off properly even by a little, they could very well be knocked out, the whole situation could crumble apart and they would have to retreat powerlessly. After all, a battlefield was filled with unpredictable variables. There were many examples of the weak winning against the strong. Let alone when He tribe was only occupying a slight dominance. Brother Shan. He Lulan could not help revealing a worried expression. Although the scale of the wolf group had increased sharply, beyond that of the 3 beast groups, he was worried Fang Yuan would not be able to control all of them properly. After all, Fang Yuan had never controlled such a large number of wolves. If he was not able to control them properly and instead became confused, or even if he could control them, with Wolf King's rank 4 peak stage primeval essence, how long could he hold on for? Fang Yuan stood on the head of the twin-headed rhino, silent as his back faced He Lulan. Looking at the 3 majestic beast groups charging and killing, pincer attacking from both sky and land, and were already approaching close, while Wolf King had yet to make any movement, He Lulan felt very anxious as he urged, Brother Shan, make your move quickly. Fang Yuan was still silent as if he did not hear it. The 3 beast groups rushed over with great momentum and was less than 200 steps away and looked like it would arrive in an instant. He tribe's army was in an uproar and He Lulan urged even more anxiously, Brother Chang Shan. Fang Yuan raised his head and laughed, it is time. The enemy poured all their strength to pressure me with the beast groups, but they do not know that they have brought about their own demise. Alliance leader Lu Lan, I need to congratulate you. Congratulate me for what? This battle has already been won, the die is cast, Alliance leader becoming the Lord of Imperial Court is a foregone conclusion. Fang Yuan lightly said. He Lu Lan's eyes opened wide, he nearly shouted, the F***CK. Where are you getting this ridiculous sense of confidence from? Quick, mobilize your wolf group for me, the enemy is already near and you still have time to talk about such nonsense. However, the very next moment, his eyes almost popped out like someone had struck the back of his eyes. It was because he felt Fang Yuan's aura having astonishing changes. From rank 4 peak stage to rank 5 initial stage. From rank 5 initial stage to rank 5 middle stage. From rank 5 middle stage to rank 5 upper stage. And from rank 5 upper stage to rank 5 peak stage. Right now, Fang Yuan was slowly lifting the concealment of breath concealment Gu and did not suppress his true cultivation anymore. Rank 5 peak stage, a genuine rank 5 peak stage. Wolf King Chang Shan Yin was actually a rank 5 peak stage enslavement path master. He Lu Lan was dumbstruck and dazed as he stared at Fang Yuan's back view. The Gu master guards nearby the main tent also looked with shocked and stunned gazes. Under everyone's gaze, Fang Yuan activated Eagle Rise Gu, large eagle wings gently raised him to the sky. In the sky, he gave a long howl. Rank 5 Amplify Effect Gu and Wolf Howl Gu. The wolf howl resounded throughout the skies, directly suppressing all the sounds from the three beast groups. Howl, howl, howl. The wolves started howling one after another in response to Fang Yuan. Chapter 540, 1 versus 3. Fang Yuan flew into the sky. Yang Ping, Jiang Baoye, Ma Zun, today is the day all of you die. He said plainly, his voice was loud and clear, reverbing in everyone's ears. Ma Zun. Jiang Baoye snorted, humph, shameless words. You are actually rank 5 peak stage, Chang Shan Yin, you truly hid your abilities well. Yang Ping said with a solemn expression, her eyes burning with fire, but this ignites my battle intent. This kind of battle is truly interesting. But at the next moment, when the wolf group emerged, his battle intent froze. Many. So many. Too many. A sea of wild wolves surged like the waves of the sea, first was the initial wave, then the second, third, as if connecting heaven and earth, it was unceasing and near infinite. Ma Zun was finally moved. The eagle group's movements halted as Yang Piying's expression was stiff. Such a huge wolf group, oh heaven, 500,000. 800,000. No, at least 1,000,000. Jiang Baoye was shell-shocked, his battle intent vanished without a trace. Retreat, my rat group was only 600,000 at its peak. After so many battles, I have not replenished them yet, thus I have less than 200,000 now. This is my foundation, I cannot lose them, retreat, 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 we have to run. Jiang Baoye was a demonic cultivator, he was extremely selfish, he immediately turned around and ran away with his rat group. Three things influenced an enslavement path Gu master's strength. One was the size of their beast group, the second was the cooperation of the enslavement path Gu worms, and third was the foundation of the soul. Fang Yuan's soul foundation was at the same level as the three enslavement masters due to Dang Hun Mountain. His enslavement Gu worms, although weaker than the three of them, was only inferior by a bit. N0V3LTR0VE served as the original host for this chapter's release on N0V3LB1N. But his wolf group had reached an incredible number of 1,560,000. In contrast, the three of them had suffered huge losses to their beast groups after consecutive battles, especially the last two huge battles. There were 200,000 rats, 180,000 eagles, and the most number of horses, at 360. But together, there were no more than 740,000. 740,000, it was merely half of the 1,560,000 wolves. Moreover, could beast groups really be counted in such a simple additive manner? It has been mentioned before, no. Different beast groups when mixed together, unless there were techniques like three hearts combination soul used, would impede each other and cause more trouble than good. Large numbers of wolves gushed out. Before, they were hiding in the crevices underground, while some were hidden by goo worms, and others were inside carriages. Now they all showed up. Even Ma Zun, who rarely spoke, shouted in shock, "How can there be so many wolves?" They were originally going in a three-way pincer attack, to take advantage of Fang Yuan being alone. In the end, there were countless wolves, and He tribe's weakness because their greatest strength instead. The Gu master guards beside him shouted loudly, "Lord Ma Zun, quickly retreat, the enemy forces are overwhelming, we cannot fight them head-on." Ma Zun was not a hot-blooded teenager, he quickly manipulated the horse group and changed direction to retreat. But horse group was different from rat group, rats were mostly small and could change directions easily. When the horses run, it was hard to stop. Especially when Fang Yuan had purposely waited until the horses and rats came close to He tribe army, before mobilizing his wolf group, his intentions were truly sinister. But Ma Zun was an enslavement master, he had great attainments. He had a good grasp of his horse group's condition, he carefully controlled them and the horse group drew an arc across the ground as they brushed past He tribe army, turning to the outside, attempting to break out of this situation. However, how could Fang Yuan let such a big piece of fat meat fly away? Ma Zun was an enslavement master, but so was he. Willing in his mind, the mutated wolf group howled as they chased. Mutated wolf group. So many. Ma Zun's Gu master guards turned around and looked, their expressions turning pale. Ma Zun had a mutated beast group with him, called Pegasus group, but their numbers could not compare with the mutated wolf group chasing them. Most of his troops were ordinary horses like Terror Claw horse, how could these horses run faster than mutated wolves? Ma Zun controlled the horse group's direction in an attempt to shrug off the wolf group. But the mutated wolf group split into two, engaging in a pincer attack as they finally intercepted the horse group. Soon after, a grand number of ordinary wolves pounced and surrounded the horses tightly. A spectacular intercept, as expected of a master level. Seeing this, He Lulan was overjoyed, finally putting his worries about Changshan away. On the other end, Rat King escaped with a group of mutated wolves chasing him with a sea of wolves behind them. As the slower rats were constantly eaten by the wolves behind, they were like a huge beast rampaging, sucking up all the rats ahead of them. Fang Yuan took a look and stopped caring about Rat King, he turned his gaze up towards the sky. The wolf group ran on the ground, while the eagle group soared in the sky, it was beyond the wolf group's ability to deal with the eagle group. Thus, among the three beast groups, even though the eagle group was weaker than the horse group, they were in a better position. Damn it, two beast groups have been targeted, the horse group is deep within encirclement, while Rat King ran away, only my group is left. Yang Ping felt a huge burden on his shoulders. He knew that if he wanted to win this, the horse and rat groups were extremely precious battle strength, losses to either one would shrink my tribe's hopes of victory greatly. The only one who can salvage this situation is me. I have to use the eagle group to attack aggressively, to divert most of Changshan attention, Yang Ping was still thinking, when Fang Yuan controlled hundreds of thousands of wolves, charging and stomping towards my tribe's main tent in a grand manner. Yang Ping was stuck between two hard decisions. If we fought one-on-one, my wolf group would definitely suffer against your eagle group. But we are at war now, if my wolf group slaughters large numbers of Gu masters, no, even if they just expend most of their primeval essence, it would be a great victory in terms of attrition. Yang Ping, what will you do? Fang Yuan's eyes were calm as water, as the corners of his lips curled into a cold snicker. Yang Ping thought rapidly in his head, but the more he thought about it, the colder his heart felt. Chang Shanyan's decision was truly sinister and evil, it was a fatal blow. But after hesitating for a while, Yang Ping gritted his teeth and decided to restrain Wolf King. This way, the Central Wolf Group did not have to engage the Eagle Group, and successfully charged into Ma Tribe's army. Ma Shangfeng's expression was cold as steel. He quickly mobilized his remaining enslavement path Gu masters and formed a temporary defensive line. But the wolf group was huge, and there were mutated wolves as vanguard. Such a defensive line was thin as paper, easily broken through. This was a huge mistake due to my decision-making. But we have not lost, everyone, the situation is dire, we have to stake it all here. Fight with me, we still have trump cards. Ma Shangfeng shouted, as Shuihua and the other rank 5 snowmen showed their true form. At the same time, an elite troop comprising purely snowmen was formed. Seeing such reinforcements, Ma Tribe army's morale surged, they calmed down from the initial confusion, and rapidly shouted, fighting alongside Ma Shangfeng. At once, wolves howled as blood splattered everywhere. First was the Central Army, followed by Ma Tribe's left and right troops, as the Gu Master starting their advancement. He Lulan laughed heartily as he waved his hand, several elite troops of his started to move out. All the respective tribe leaders also led their tribesmen into the battlefield. The two armies engaged in all-out combat. Beast groups, humans, entangled together. Fire path, ice path, dark path, light path, all sorts of Gu masters fought valiantly. Experts laughed loudly as they slaughtered their enemies. While weaklings helped each other, forming groups as they resisted with their lives, fighting for a chance of survival. The Eagle group shrieked as they attacked Fang Yuan. But beside Fang Yuan, there were He Lu Lan's personal guards, as well as Yi Lui Sang, Hao Ji Lu, Bian Si Xian, Pan Ping and other experts, forming a tight defense. The Eagle group's attack was ineffective, while Fang Yuan used Wolf Care Gu to bypass his weakness of vision, allowing him to mobilize the wolf group to attack, slaughtering horses, rats, and people. We have urgent matters, Wu Yi, you guys go and restrain the experts near Changshan Yin. On the eagle's back, Yang Ping was sweating profusely as he ordered. Wu Yi was called Green Bat, one of the 3 flying masters in Northern Plains. Among the 3 original flying masters, Flying Lightning Dong Pekong was part of Dong Fang tribe, having returned to the Blessed Land. Water Fairy Song Qing Yin had died in battle already. Only Green Bat Wu Yi was left, recruited by Ma Tribe. He was especially left behind to deal with the new flying master Changshan Yin. Wu Yi heard this and frowned, if we strike, and the other party attacks, what will happen to your safety? Yang Ping laughed arrogantly, I have the protection of the Thunder Eagles, I am extremely safe. Not even He Lu Lan can break my Thunder Eagle's defense instantly. Don't worry and go, don't forget our assassin Wu Ming. Wu Yi heard this and their hearts shook. These people with flying abilities rushed out, causing He Lu Lan and the others' pressure to intensify when defending. Careful, they are trying to disturb us, don't step out easily. Don't forget that they have Wu Ming. He Lu Lan snorted as he attacked, instructing his men. Qi Lian tribe leader's godson Wu Ming, was a rank 5 Dark Path Gu master. Yi Lui Sang could defeat the 7 Army Alliance because he had assassinated many of their enemies' leaders, causing them to feel fear and a drop in morale. After that, Wu Ming's performance was spectacular, a good number of rank 5 Gu masters died in his hands, including even more rank 4 Gu masters. He was hailed as the #1 assassin in the current world, his reputation had greatly surpassed Shadow Sword expert Bian Si Xian. Right now, he had not shown up yet, who knew which part of the battlefield he was lurking in. He Lu Lan did not dare to be careless. Once Wu Ming succeeds in assassinating Fang Yuan, the wolf group was collapse and the situation would reverse immediately. Charge over and kill Wolf King Chang Shan Yin. Not just He Lulan, Yang Ping and Ma tribe's experts also rapidly understood the crux of this battle. At once, large numbers of Gu master experts charged towards He tribe main camp. I will give 5 million battle merits to whoever kills Chang Shan Yin. He will be given the position of Ma tribe's supreme elder, and will enjoy Ma tribe's resources for life. Ma Shangfeng fought and killed the wolves as he shouted loudly. Such huge rewards naturally attracted many Gu master experts, causing their eyes to turn red and their spears to point at Fang Yuan.